Hey y'all, the sun is about to come up, man. The fog is burning off. We're gonna have us a beautiful sunrise over here this morning. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to go fishing. Let's get us some baits on there and make it happen, buddy. I'm gonna put y'all in the chest here while I get baited up. We're gonna start out dropping some baits down vertical right under the kayak. We're going after catfish today. Probably blues, but chance for a flathead, and I've been jonesing for one, man. I've been craving a dang flathead, something terrible. I hope today's the day. I'll get these baits down here and I'll tell you where we're at and what the plan is. There's the first one though. That's a skipjack head. That's on a suspend rig. It's a Carolina rig. 8-ounce egg sinker, 80-pound leader, 10-aught size hook, and a Catfish Sumo bait stalker fly, a few inches below the cut bait. This other side over here, we're going to be fishing 2 rods here to start with. We may throw out a third. I just got anchored down, so once the kayak gets settled, if the wind kind of blows us one particular direction, there ain't no current flow, it's going to make a difference out here this morning. But if the wind kind of pushes us one direction, we may throw out a third rod, just cast it out on bottom. But right now, we're definitely going to have some suspend rigs down. We're 42 feet, looks like here where I'm at, so these baits are going to be down there 39, 40 feet deep. There's our chunk. Going head and chunk to start with. Skipjack is the only bait I have with me today. And I'm hoping, man, yesterday I fished, I got several blue cats, finally got a good size one there at the end of my session there yesterday, and I was like, man, I'm gonna come back and hit it again today. Now this area I'm fishing, y'all, it's a pretty good haul from the house. I'm about an hour and 30 minutes away from home, but I've been doing pretty good down here. This is on Chickamauga Reservoir. This is the 4th reservoir of the Tennessee River. And I'd come down last week, do some pre-fishing for a tournament. We had the tournament, finished second place. Hey, self-high five to me, right? Won $750 in that. But anyway, a lot of the guys in the tournament, I fished a river bend, and I was fishing 30, 35 feet deep, right? Main channel. A lot of the guys that were pre-fishing though, they were in these backwater creeks, and they were busting fish shallow. And that excites me because when fish are moving shallow, they got to get in and out of these creeks, right? And so that's what I'm doing today. I'm setting up in a place to try to intercept them as they go in and out. And I love suspend fishing. It's my favorite way to fish. So that's what we're doing today. Now, yesterday I come down, there was just a splash right there. Yesterday I fished the creek across the channel from here. And again, got several fish, got a nice blue cat there toward the end of my session. And I said, you know what, I'll come back today, I'm gonna fish this creek that I launched in here, because I noticed when I launched, all kinds of shells along the shoreline. So there's some mussels in here. And I thought, these fish, they may be working up in this creek too. And I come out here, I'll show you where I'm at on the map. Best I can anyway. I've jimmy rigged my dang graph on here just so we can have a map card and see our depth. The creek channel runs back in here, back here behind us, okay? So we're out here kind of at the bottom of the drop. If you can see there where it kind of falls off, we're right here at the bottom edge of that drop, 42 feet. I'm seeing a few small marks here to start with, some bait up near the top of the surface. Personally, I don't really care about seeing fish when we get out here, because fish are either here or they're not. It don't really matter. What I'm counting on is throughout the morning here, we're gonna have some fish either working up and down this channel edge. They'll either be following the contours up and down through here, or they're gonna go in and out of this creek to feed. And we are set up to take advantage of them right here, regardless of which way they're going. If they're on this side of the channel, if they're going in this creek, we're gonna have a bait in their face, and that's what I want. So I'm gonna put y'all in the chest here. I'm gonna go raw and uncut today, unedited. I'm gonna bring y'all with me. Today's gonna be another trip where I basically fishing about 4 hours or so. So we'll see what we get here during this time. It's a long drive to go somewhere and fish for 4 hours. But the success I've been having down here in the last week or so, I feel like it's worth it, man. It's worth coming back for. So back down here today, going to try out this creek. There's also another one just down from here, looks good on a map. I'm wanting to hit it too. We'll see how today goes and see if it's worth coming back for. I definitely can't come back tomorrow because we're gonna be out of bait today. I got bait 2 days ago. I used about half of it yesterday and hopefully use the other half today. So I'll need to make a bait run before I come back and hit that area over there, assuming we want to. You know, we know the other side of the channel over there is treating us right, but we'll see how it goes over here. Last week, me and Ryan had come down here one day, Ryan Bortz, ahead of the tournament, and mine and his initial plan was I was going to drag the other side of the channel. He was going to drag this side, and we were just going to cover a big long stretch, see what we could get into. Now, he fished this side all the way up through there, and he caught several fish on this side. Now, me, I dragged for a little while, not very far. I got snagged in a damn trot line, had to cut my lines. I was so mad. I said, hell with it. I went up, there's like an old submerged dam upriver from here. I went up there and sat for the rest of that trip and caught some fish up there too. But, you know, man, this is my favorite way to fish. Suspend fishing here. And for tournament purposes, Ryan won the tournament. He was dragging baits. He's always dragging baits though. So it's tough to say, was that the best technique for him? But that's what he was doing. Me, I caught my fish anchoring with my lines cast out on bottom. I had tried to suspend and didn't do particularly well in pre-fishing. But coming out here yesterday, I caught some fish suspending, and I got a big fish suspending. And so if I can catch them like that, even if it may not necessarily be the best, most productive technique at that particular time, it's what I want to do just because it's so much dang fun, especially in this kayak, because this kayak is so much smaller than my other one. The takedowns, it's more intense. The battles, they're more fun. And I pretty much had to bring this kayak today because this creek, you can't see back in here right now because of the fog and everything, but this area I launched in is not really suitable for my other kayak. So this one here, I can just drop off the trailer, drag it where I need to, and put it in the water just about anywhere. You take the pedal drive out of this thing, it's pretty lightweight, so easy to move around. So I could launch right here, come out a couple 100 yards to the entrance of this thing, and we'll drop baits down and see what happens. I saw all them dang mussel bed, or all them shells back there, and I'm like, man, there's got to be some fish working up in there to feed on that at some point. There has to be. It's just, they're eating them damn mussels. So I'm hoping they're going to work up in here today. But we're going to put in a few hours and find out. Fish till about lunchtime or so, so I'm just going to bring y'all along for the ride like you were out here with me. That's what these unedited, raw and uncut videos are for, just to kind of bring you all along on a real fishing trip, show you start to finish how things go. And hopefully we're going to get on them today. I'm going to turn the camera around a little bit so maybe we can see a beautiful sunrise coming up here. Yesterday I was running a little late, and we didn't get to watch the sun pop up. Well, yesterday was a weird day for me. It was. I'll tell you the story about yesterday. I had so many weird things happen. It's kind of one of them things like karma. You know, karma, good things happen, bad things happen. You have good days, you have bad days. That's just how life works, right? Well, yesterday, things just kind of kept as Goosey goes by. Y'all wave at Goosey. Cameo appearance. Oh, don't stop right there, Goose. Here goes the next one. Y'all holler at Goosey, tell him to go on. There's a whole damn river here. They like a daggone bass fisherman, man. They got the whole river and they want to get right up on you. Tell them to go on. We got stories to tell. So anyway, my day yesterday, y'all, I mean, I didn't have, other than catching that big fish, nothing really went right for me from the very start. So I woke up yesterday morning, and in this video, yesterday was my last unedited catfish video. Now, I have another carp trip that I filmed over the weekend, so you may have seen it before this video. I may have thrown the carp trip in just to kind of break things up from consecutive catfish videos. But nevertheless, that trip was filmed, the catfishing trip filmed yesterday, right? I get up yesterday morning. I'll go to put my boots on. My boots still soaking wet because the day before I had stepped off in the water a little too deep on my bait run, and it filled with water. So I threw my boot in the dryer, trying to finish drying it out. That ended up causing me to be out here a little later than I would have liked. I didn't get on the water right at sunrise, but you know, all's well in the end. We caught several fish. But throughout the trip yesterday, things just kept going wrong. I had a channel cat somehow or another tie a knot in my line, like wrap my sinker around in a knot that I couldn't get undone, had to cut the damn thing. I had a hook. Let me show you this hook over here. I still got the leader here in the tank. This is a Mustad Demon Circle hook. I've never had this happen on this model of hook before. The damn thing bent out. Look at that. I mean, it bent out. And it wasn't on a big fish either. It was a smaller fish. The thing bent out. Had that happen, I got pulled off anchor at one point. Had to reset. Then I got a line hung in my anchor. Had to fool with that nonsense. I just kept having things, just piddly stuff. And I missed a bunch of fish yesterday too. Like we had a bunch of rods get hit. They'd take the rod tip over. You would think they would hook and then they'd just pop off. Like it was like that all morning long. There was something splashing. So anyway, we deal with that. We overcome. We catch some fish, get a big one. I roll out of here yesterday. And I'll be damned if they ain't doing some kind of construction work. I got stuck forever waiting on it. So my hour and 20-minute drive turned into more like 2 hours. So finally get home, and I was hoping to get home at a reasonable hour yesterday because I'd ordered a new computer, and it was supposed to be delivered yesterday, and I didn't want some porch pirate snatching it while it's sitting out there, you know. So I get home, and this damn computer, man, I ordered it from Apple. I got a shipping notice on Saturday. It was supposed to be delivered yesterday, Monday. Saturday to Monday, I don't know, midnight-ish or whatever. It made it all the way from China to Knoxville, Tennessee. But somehow or another, from midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, whenever it was on Monday, to Monday afternoon, it couldn't make it from Knoxville to my house, 20 miles down the road. So the damn computer didn't get delivered. I rushed home for that, tried to anyway. The computer didn't get delivered. So I was like, well, if I can't set that computer up today, I'm at least going to be productive. I'm going to get some other stuff done around the house. So I'd been putting off spraying weed killer forever because I hate spraying weed killer. But, you know, here we are. We're into spring. The kudzu's starting to pop out, and I'm surrounded by it on my property. So I was going to go ahead and get that done. So I pull out my weed spray, and I've got this big old 15-gallon spray tank. I put it on my lawnmower, plug it in like it's an electric sprayer. So I hadn't used it since end of last summer. And I pull it out, I plug it in, you know, I'm making sure everything's still functioning properly. It turns on, it's working fine, great. So I put it on the mower, I go and fill it up, put the weed killer in there, mix it up, I'm ready to go. Hop on the mower, take off to the fence, I go to spray. I got nothing. It ain't working. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. So I go back up to the house, get off the mower. I got no power to that sprayer. And I had just plugged it in before I filled up the damn tank. So I'm checking all the wires, connections, everything. I go and I get my filming light out of the shed because I think maybe a wire's popped loose on my mower battery because I got a little 12-volt plug-in thing that goes on there. My filming light plugs into the mower. So I'm like, well, that's not the problem. And so I get it in my mind that my pump has went out on the sprayer. So I go in the house, change clothes, run over to Tractor Supply, buy a new pump. I come back and I was like, you know, before I install this thing on the sprayer tank, let me just plug it in because it's got those quick connect pieces there to plug it in. I'm like, let me just plug this thing in. I plug it in, it don't work either. I was like, well, great. Well, clearly that's not the problem. Apparently it wasn't the damn pump after all. So at this point, we basically got two options. It's either my switch that's gone bad, or it's the 12-volt, what do you call them things? The cigarette lighter things. You know what I'm talking about. You plug them in there, right? It's got to be one of those two. And so I was like, it's probably the switch, and I don't need that damn switch anyway. So I cut the switch off, bypass it, plug it back in, nothing. I still got no power. So I was like, okay, well, it's got to be the damn 12-volt thing. Well, I don't have an extra one, and when I went to Tractor Supply, I didn't buy one because I had it in my mind that it was the pump that had went bad. The only one I have is the one that's on my nighttime filming light. So I cut it off my damn filming light and put it on there because I've got 15 gallons of weed killer mixed up that I need to do something with today. And I'm running out of daylight, you know. I mean, we're in the afternoon at this point. Daylight's burning. And it takes me, I got 4 acres. So, I mean, it takes me a couple hours to do weed killer and do my driveway and fence and around the house and everything, you know. So I cut my damn filming light plug in. I put it on, plug it in. Finally, it works. So it was, after everything I checked, it was the last damn thing that went wrong. So I'm like, fine, good to go here. Let's make this happen. Y'all, hey, listen, y'all thought you was tuning in just to see Fishing Day. You're going to hear me talk about the crazy nonsense that happens. This is just the kind of crap you'd be hearing if you was out here fishing with me today. So I told you it's a real fishing trip. Anyway, let me turn back around here to sunlight. You don't want to see my face. So got the sprayer working, right? So hop on the mower, I take back off, I get over to the fence where I'm gonna start, I go to spray. And it's like my damn sprayer wand handle just explodes, really. I mean, I squeeze that thing to spray and weed killer starts just spraying out every which way. Apparently my wand, the sprayer wand, had corroded and developed holes in the shaft of it. So when I squeezed to release the weed killer, it's spraying out everywhere. I was like, you have got to be, this ain't happening. Like, you can't make this stuff up like I'm on candid camera or something. So here I go, back to Tractor Supply. I go in the house, change clothes, go back to Tractor Supply, buy a sprayer wand. Well, guess what? They don't have any. No problem. I'll go next door to Home Depot. Guess what? They don't have any either. I was like, it just ain't meant to be. So then, here I am. I've got 15 gallons of weed killer in the spray tank on my mower. And I got a 0-turn mower last year, so I had put this tank kind of on the, the area on your mower there where your feet go on the 0-turn. I had it sitting there. And, do the math on that, folks. 15 gallons, about 8 pounds a gallon, that's a lot of weight on there. So there wasn't no lifting that tank off so that I could just mow my yard because I need to get it done too. So I'm like, well, whatever, I guess today we'll be going to Ace Hardware or Rural King or somewhere to try to find a damn sprayer one. So here I have, I've been knocked out of setting up the new computer yesterday. I've been knocked out of spraying weed killer, which I desperately needed to do. I can't mow my yard. I mean, I could have with the sprayer tank on there, but then my legs would have been up in the air over the sprayer tank. It just wouldn't have been comfortable. So I was hell-bent on doing something productive. I'm like, this day is so damn weird, all this stuff happening. Like, I am gonna get something done. So Daphne the dog had got a new bicycle delivered yesterday. And this bicycle is a tricycle. It's got 3 wheels. You know what I'm trying to say. 1 on the front, 2 on the back. And I was like, okay, I'm at least going to get this thing put together, get that off my to-do list. I take this thing out of the package, y'all, out of the box. And these electric bikes, man, they come in this box that's, I mean, it's huge. It's 6 foot long box, about 3-4 foot tall. I mean, it's a big box they come in. And my regular viewers, you've seen me now in the last couple years try out just about every bike China could possibly make. I mean, I don't know how many more they could possibly send me. I feel like I've had them all at this point. And in the last couple years, I've done so many bikes that I've gotten very proficient at putting them together. I mean, they mostly come assembled. Like, you'll open them up and you'll have to put on the front tire and the seat and the handlebars and the foot pedals. And, you know, some of these bikes are easier to put together than others, but they're all a 10-minute project, right? They're all mostly assembled. And I've done so many, I don't even have to look at the instructions. Regardless of how many pieces there are, like, I can just put that thing together 5-10 minutes. Well, I opened up this box. And now, granted, this is the first tricycle that I have gotten. But I opened up this thing, and it was, according to their website, and according to the emails that me and whoever the person over there in China is I was interacting with, according to their emails, this thing was 65% assembled. That's how it would arrive. Y'all, if this thing was 65% assembled, I will kiss your hind end. This thing was in pieces. I had to put everything together. Everything. I mean, I'm talking the axle, the derailleur thing. I don't even know what a derailleur is, but I had to put it on. I had to run the chain around and like link the chain together, and the fenders, the basket thing, the seat, the handlebars. You got to connect the brake lines. I'm like, holy cow. The instruction manual on how to put this thing together is about yay thick, man. I mean, it just kept going. And I'm reading the instruction. I mean, it's got pictures and diagrams and stuff, but like, I've never put together anything this complicated before. I'm not a mechanically inclined person. Like, that's just not me. I'm not good with tools and building stuff. Like, I mean, you see my graph on this kayak here. I've thrown the damn thing on here. I'm not good at this kind of stuff. Everybody's got things they're good at and things they suck at in life, and I'm not mechanically inclined. If it requires building, you don't want me doing it, and that's just the way it is, people. But anyway, I'm out there, man. I'm cussing every step. There wasn't one easy step that I just easily got done on this thing. And I finally run out of daylight after, I don't know how long I worked on it. Hour and a half, 2 hours, I probably worked on that damn bike. A lot of cuss words said. I still don't have it together. There's still bags of parts on my damn carport. We got hit right here. Take that thing down, fish. Take it down. That's a nice slow takedown. That was an interesting bite there, wasn't it? Could that be our flathead, potentially? Could that be our flathead? We felt a bump and then a slow takedown. We'll see when we get him up here. It's not going to be a very big fish. It may end up just being a small blue. Got me excited, though, when I seen that kabump and then the slow takedown. Either way, we're getting fish number one here. Getting the skunk out. Yeah, it took 20 something minutes here to do it, but hopefully people stuck around through my endless whining of my story of the day that just wouldn't go right yesterday. There's more to this story too, by the way. I ain't done. We're gonna let the fish get up here and see what he's gonna look like. Well, he's fighting harder now. Hey, boy, look at him go now. He's still, I mean, I don't think he's not gonna be no monster. But he's stronger than I thought. This is either gonna be a flathead, a small flathead, or maybe that fish, maybe it's a blue and he hit and he snagged himself on a stinger fly or something. We'll see here in a minute. I'm curious about this now. I thought I felt rolling there. That's a blue, and he's better fish than I thought. That's a better fish than I thought he was when I first picked up on him. And this one here surprised me, y'all. I thought he was much smaller than that. We're gonna tire him out a minute here. I may give him some front camera time, being the first fish and all. He's a fun sizer. I was hoping to get some fish working up in here first thing this morning. It's cold this morning. It was allegedly 39 degrees when I left the house. I had to turn the heater on last night. But it don't feel as cold as yesterday morning, I guess because the wind ain't blowing today. I was cold out here yesterday. I mean, I was chilled to the bone there. Fish, you about done? He says he's done when he's dang good and ready. Get my glove on here. If y'all was a good fishing partner, you'd done had this fish landed for me. You ends up bring a net and net this thing. That's what people that fish in boats together do. One of them reels it in and the other one nets them. I don't use no net in the kayak. If you thought I had tangles and messes before, watch me with a net. This one ate the chunk, folks. And he is a chunk. He is hooked right in the tooth patch on the upper lip. Okay, fish, come on in now. Let's calm it down. Hey, calm it. We're gonna be good now. Yeah, I got him behind the tooth patch right there. Look at that. There we go. All right, Blue Kitty. Let me stick my camera mount up here. Put y'all up here. Y'all set up here. Hopefully, thing's gonna be crooked. Hopefully with the fancy pants microphone on, y'all ain't gonna hear that banging and whatnot when we put you in the mount there. Nice, man. Nice Blues, a fish number one. That's a pretty good start, y'all. Weird though, the way he hit it. He didn't feel that big when I picked up on him. And he's skinny. But boy, the fight got better there toward the end. I guess he realized he needed to show out because the camera was running, and he decided to pick up the pace a little bit. All right, fish. How does it feel to be number one on this video? And number one in these people's hearts? He don't know how to feel. Fish don't feel anything. We'll see you, buddy. He gone, y'all. Hey, fist pump for fish number one. Got the skunk out. Let's see if we can get us another bait on here. I'm gonna cut another chunk of that skipjack. The chunk lately has been my best performing bait, best performing cut of bait. But with that said, yesterday, my biggest fish there, I got that whopper toward the end of my session. It ate the skipjack head. So, a day like today, I'm fishing 2 rods. I want 1 cut of each. Well, we got options. Whatever they want, we'll just make sure we got it down there for them. I'm gonna take my pliers here and cut this thing off. Old fin on there ain't gonna serve no purpose for us, is it? Throw that back in the cooler. We're not gonna be very conservative with bait today because I've got plenty enough left for today's session. And I would definitely want to reload with some fresher bait before I come back down again anyway. So we're going to try to, if these fish want to play with us today, we're going to burn through this bait. We'll try to anyway. Well, down this one goes, and I'm seeing some more. I don't know if you can see on the graph right there, but there's some more fish right there along the bottom. That pleases me very much, y'all. Get a fish, fun sizer right to start. So, anyway, I got this dang tricycle. Way too long. I mean, again, these normal bicycles, they take me 10 minutes, 15 minutes put together. I mean, it's a very quick process. And this one, man, I'm way deep into it, and I've still got who knows how much longer to go. And I'm hoping this thing, when I get on it, ain't going to just fall apart, because I mean, like, I've never had to assemble part of the frame before. So I'm very concerned about it. So anyway, when I go home today, I need to spray weed killer. Well, first off, I got to stop at Tractor Supply on my way home, return the spray pump. I got to get a spray wand for the sprayer. I got to spray weed killer. I also need to go rent a brush cutter. It's like a weed eater with a blade on it to trim some stuff up. And assuming my computer arrives today, which again is amazing, it can make it from China to Knoxville in a day and a half, but yet takes 2 days to get from Knoxville to my house 20 miles down the road. If it arrives today, I need to get it set up. So I got all this stuff to do, but things yesterday, it was just an odd day. Things kept going wrong. And so I come out today, I get up this morning and I'm like, gosh, after yesterday, do I really want to drive back down here? I mean, I was second guessing it, because sometimes you get on a little pattern of things going wrong and things will just keep going wrong. I mean, it always changes. It always reverses. You have bad stretches, you have good stretches. That's life. But I've been on a little bad stretch there yesterday. So I had all this bait and a will to succeed. So I've come down here today, but I'm hoping things have turned, because I had another odd occurrence this morning. I leave my house and I'm driving through Lenoir City. I make it all the way from my house to the interstate without getting stopped at a single red light. And, this ain't 1988 where there's 2 red lights in town. Like, we're 2024 here. Our real estate developer mayor and his city council, full of his real estate agent and developer friends, has ruined our town. I mean, there's apartment complexes, subdivisions, duplexes. There's people on top of people on top of people in my town now. I mean, we are way overcrowded. So there's a red light every 15 yards, and you can't make it anywhere, any hour of the day, without getting stopped at 20 red lights. Used to, you could drive from one end of town to the other in 10 minutes. I could go from Fort Loudon Dam to Melton Hill Dam in 10 minutes. Now, that's a half-hour trip to get from one end of the town to the other. But I made it all the way through this morning, all the way through town. Never hit the first red light. So I'm hoping. That's an odd occurrence in a positive way. So I'm hoping we've turned the corner, and maybe today is going to be an unusually good day to offset yesterday, which was full of unusually weird negative things happening. I don't know if it'll work out that way, but I'm hopeful it does, man. What an odd day. I mean, how do you straighten? What are the odds that a channel cat will tie you in a knot and you straighten out, bend out a hook? You know, I know some cheaper brand hooks have been known to bend out, but I mean, that's a mustad. And it wasn't on a big fish. So, yeah, what a day yesterday, y'all. What a day. But I got a lot to do. So we're going to fish till about lunch today, and I'm going to make the journey home and hopefully knock out some chores. I'm trying to get things done. You know, y'all know how it is. We're in the springtime and things pile up. Got to get your yard back in order. Projects you've put off during the winter and bad weather and stuff. You gotta get it going. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'd cleared off a fence line through the woods there last fall and run my fence down, expanded it. And now all that area that I cleared off, now that we're into spring, warming up a little bit, all them nuts and acorns and everything that's now exposed and going to get light and all, they're all popping up these sprouts. I need to go rent me a brush cutter, and because they're a little too, I tried it the other day with the weed eater and they're a little too thick for that. So I need to just take a brush cutter and go through there and clear them off and knock that down and spray that damn kudzu, try to keep it at bay. I had cleared off, I went on my neighbor's property last fall there because I'm sick of those people not maintaining their fence line. It makes a hardship on me because they won't mow up to the fence. So I went over there last fall. I cleared out all that old kudzu, pulled it out of there, and now I'm going to spray through my fence onto their property for a foot or two and keep it off the fence. It's going to make my life so much easier now. But I hate spraying weed killer. I don't hate it as bad as weed eating, which is why I spray weed killer. But I hate doing it. I just, it's one of them things that I put off and put off and put off as long as I can because I hate doing it. But I've got to do it, assuming I can find a sprayer wand attachment that don't have holes in it. And I don't know why that thing had all them holes. I mean, every time I'm done spraying weed killer, I always clean out my tank and run a few gallons of clean water through it to try to flush out the hose and the wand and everything. But I guess there was enough left in there the last time I used it last summer that it just corroded and caused all them little holes. So when I sprayed that thing, man, it was shooting out every which way. I was so mad though, y'all. Holy bum, my neighbors, they probably thought I was into it with somebody as many cuss words as I was yelling. I was on a roll. I was saying cuss words in every combination possible. I'd have made the church ladies blush yesterday. But I'm hopefully going to get all this stuff done this week, and then next week get back to being able to just focus on fishing more exclusively. Hopefully this computer's going to be faster, make my life easier. I got this, here's another thing. Where are we at in this video? We're 39 minutes in. We've probably weeded out most of the casual viewers. You know, they've done clicked off the video by now. They've done left a comment saying the video's too long and they've skedaddled. Anyway, those of you that stuck around this long, appreciate you. Y'all the ones I like. Give me some feedback. So I'm rocking this new microphone here. I've used this DJI camera before on some videos last fall when I got it, and comparing the footage to GoPro's better. DJI is better at everything except the video quality part. GoPro's better on that. But I like everything else about the DJI camera. Well, they come out with this new microphone that connects to the camera without having to plug it into the camera. Like there's normally a little receiver, I guess it's called, that plugs into the camera. And with DJI, I thought it was a design flaw, because if you plugged that receiver into the camera, well, then you couldn't use a battery pack. You could do one or the other. But now they've come out with this new microphone, and it connects Bluetooth to the camera. So I can use the battery pack and microphone. So hopefully we're going to spruce up the audio a little bit here. Won't have GoPro quality, unfortunately. But again, everything else. So we're trying it today. So give me some feedback. Microphone, do you like it? Not like it? Is it helpful at all? You know, I'm curious to see some feedback. Now that we've got rid of the casual viewers on this channel, hopefully we can get some honest feedback from people. I'm a little concerned where it's at. My hoodie hood may be touching it there or something. I got it on my life jacket, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Today's kind of experiment day. I'm also curious to see too, and it's probably never be a problem, but I'm always, when it comes to mechanical stuff, I never trust it. I never fully trust technology to work like it's supposed to. So I'm hoping I don't ever have a situation, and hopefully don't have it right now, where I think the microphone is connected and it's not, and I'll get home and I'll be on mute. There'll be no audio at all. That used to happen to me. I've got some Rode wireless mics that I used to connect to my GoPro. And for GoPro, you have to buy this thing called a media mod, because they want to stick it to you and get you to buy all these adapters and whatnot. And so you would plug your receiver thing into that media mod, which wraps around the GoPro, and you could use a wireless mic. And I had done that for a while, and finally just gave up on it, because there were so many times I'd get home, I guess I would bump that, just taking the camera in and out of my chest, I would bump that receiver where it plugged in, and then I'd get home and I wouldn't have any audio. I'd just be on mute, because the GoPro mic wouldn't take over when the external mic stopped working. And so I'd just get home and think, great, I caught fish today, let me edit this video, and then, well, surprise, I've got nothing. So I'd quit using it, but I'm semi-optimistic about this mic working out, so we're going to try it and see how it goes. We'll see how this video turns out, what kind of feedback I get. I want to try to make the best viewing experience possible for you all, but I also want to make things easy on myself. And the more, like with the GoPro, the more things you have to attach to it, the more likely it is something's going to go wrong. Like bumping that receiver and it wiggles loose a little bit. Now you don't have audio. And having that case, they call it the media mod, that wraps around your GoPro and plugs into it, which allows you those extra ports to hook up a microphone or external battery pack, whatever. When you enclose the GoPro, it causes the heat to build up, and you would overheat more frequently. So it was always a problem. And when I stopped doing that, I took the media mod off, didn't fool with the external mics. The audio takes a hit doing that, but the camera runs much better. It doesn't overheat as often. It just resolved a lot of issues. And so this DJI mic, being Bluetooth, I don't have to worry about bumping that receiver, and I can use the external battery pack. And DJI claims their cameras don't overheat. Now, I didn't use it enough. I got this camera last fall, so I haven't used it in like the peak summer months when it's blazing hot yet. So I don't know for sure. I can't speak to 100% accuracy that it's not going to overheat. But allegedly, it will not. So we're going to try it and see. The only thing that suffers is the video quality. And it's not a huge drop in video quality, but if you put GoPro and DJI side by side on the screen, you can see the difference. I can't really explain the difference verbally, but visually, you can just see it. GoPro is just, it's a lot more crisp. When you move, like when you're panning around, I feel like the GoPro follows you a little better. It follows the background better. Whereas DJI kind of follows you, but the background, when you spin, I feel like it kind of blurs a little bit. I don't know. They'll eventually get it dialed in. GoPro's on like generation 12 now. DJI's on iteration 4. So I think by the time DJI hits 10 or 12 models later, they'll be better off than GoPro currently is today. But we ain't there yet. Right now, they ain't no perfect camera. Look at that heron. He's over here. He's wanting to know what we're doing. He's all nosy and stuff. He's like my neighbors peeking through the fence wanting to know what I'm doing over there. Yelling at all them parts I don't know how to go together on that tricycle. It's a wonder them neighbors didn't call the law on me last night as much as I was cussing and hollering out there. I get so mad, y'all, when I'm trying to put something together or work on something and I can't get it together. I can't get it to do right. I can't figure out the instructions. Like, it just makes me so mad. I don't know why I get so mad, but I do. I mean, I get angry at it. Because one, I don't want to be doing it anyway. And I think that just with the fact that I'm not any good at it just frustrates the hell out of me. I get mad. I mean, I'm not good with tools. Even basic things like, you take using a drill, for instance. Who the hell can't use a drill? Well, me, every time I try to use a drill, I end up stripping out the damn end of the screws. Every time. I blame it on being left-handed. Because, there's a lot of things as a left-hander you can't do. You can't use scissors. You can't use can opener because it don't work right. I'm wondering if a drill ain't the same damn way. But I hate working with tools and stuff. I hate doing it. But this bike, man, 65% assembled, bullarchy. Man, it's this thing, 25% at best. I mean, when I got to attach the brake lines, when I have to connect the chain, using these, I didn't even know how a bicycle chain got put together, honestly. Because every bike I've ever gotten, the chain's already on. Like it, I mean, it's been an ordeal with this dang bike, man. But I got to get it together and get it video done. That company, they're not going to like what I got to say about the assembly process, though. When these companies reach out, at this point in time, I've done, and my email, when you do this YouTube crap, man, my email inbox every day, I've got electric bikes, obviously a big ticket item that I gladly accept because I can turn around and sell those for a nice profit. But I mean, I could get anything through that. My inbox is all kinds of pet products, home goods, generators, inverters, scooters, lithium batteries. I mean, it's every day. And they want you to prostitute yourself all over the internet for a $20 product. And I delete all that stuff. But when it's a bike, and I know they're going to want one video And they don't even want me to do a bicycle video. All I got to do is just throw it on a fishing video, a little 5-minute segment, racing Daphne around the yard. Like if I can do that and get a bike that I can turn around and sell for $700, $800, $900, because what I've been doing on them bikes, man, I keep one for Daphne, because I use that to run energy out of her. But I don't need 20 bikes, obviously, so I just turn around and sell them. I'll list them on Marketplace. I'll knock $500 off, whatever the retail price of the bike is, and they're gone 2 or 3 days. They sell quick. So I take them, man. Every time a bike comes up. But I've dealt with so many of these companies that when they send me an email, I've got a response that I've typed up on my little note thing on my phone app. I just copy and paste onto the email that I respond to, and it answers every question they're going to ask me before they ask me, and it saves so much time. But I tell them what I am going to do, what I ain't going to do, what is acceptable, what ain't acceptable. And some of them turn it down, you know. Some of them want you to do all this extra social media stuff, and they want the rights to your video, and they want to be able to request you to redo the video, and we do one take. I ensure that they will get at least 5 minutes. I'm not doing any social media stuff. They're not having any rights to tell me how I'm going to edit the video. I'm not going to just cover up any issues I have with the bikes. You know, I'm going to give an honest opinion of the one lap I take around my yard, if you will. And some of them, most of them are okay with it, some of them ain't. And then they'll go ahead and send the bike, and 10 minutes later, I'll have it put together. We race Daphne, and voila, but not this time. And I don't know how that's going to work. You know, one, with me putting this damn thing together, I'm a little concerned about going 20 plus miles an hour down the hill in my yard. That seems like a Days of Thunder cold trickle crash waiting to happen. But I don't even know with this tricycle how well I'm going to be able to turn. Like how far I'm going to be able to lean over to turn. So I may have to race Daphne in a straight line, which guarantees she's going to win, because her initial burst of speed, I mean, she's fast. I call her the baby cheetah, but like, if she was in a track meet, we got hit again here. Something come up and nipped it there. He just wanted a little nip, a little nippy. But Daphne's speed off the line, man. Usain Bolt couldn't beat Daphne. She can run over 20 miles an hour. She's slowing down a little bit now, at least energy-wise. Used to, I'd run her out there on the bike around the yard, and we'd have to do 4 or 5 laps, tire her out. Now it takes about 2 laps, and she's ready to lay down a minute. I got her a new bed. She's been helping me with selling these bikes, you know, so I cut her in on the proceeds, so she got her a new fancy bed. Oh, now that one's a little bit more. I think that one's hooked up. Maybe not. A tease. Yesterday, they were hitting them and taking the rods down pretty hard and then popping free. That one there, he hit it. He never really took the rod over that hard. I think that was probably, hopefully, a small fish, just nipping. We ain't gonna let them nip much more, though, before we switch out them baits, because I want them in good condition down there. still don't really feel good about casting out another line right now because we got, I don't know, the wind has kind of blown us kind of consistently this way, hasn't it? We may could throw out another line here in a minute. Whenever I cut another bait, we'll try it. I may could always throw it out behind us the other direction. Not really any flow out here this morning, no noticeable flow, so we're kind of going to be at the mercy of the little wind we have and some boat wake as far as positioning. I do think the wind is supposed to pick up this afternoon, but it's calm out here this morning. Yesterday, I didn't think the wind was supposed to blow at all, and it was cranking out here yesterday. I may well go ahead and throw out a bait behind us here. We could, you know, because we're sitting here, we're on the bottom of the drop. If I cast one out, we could get it further up on the drop maybe. And it would be behind us. May do that. How long's that head been down there? Yeah, that head's been down there almost an hour. Let's do that. Let's cut another bait. We'll throw out one behind us. We'll switch out our chunk that's been hit a couple times over here. Come on, Skippy. Oh, skipjack. My favorite bait in the world right there. Well, these things right here, you talk about being in high demand, man. Everybody back home's a bait dealer now. And they all selling these things anywhere from $4 to $8 a piece. I'm like, I don't know how people, because I mean, I feel like overall, I'm pretty conservative with bait compared to most catfishermen. And especially, you take a day like today where I'm fishing with 2 rods, 3 here in a second. Like I'm not using much bait compared to, say, a person in a boat that's running 10 rods or 12 rods. I mean, I've seen guys that run a ridiculous amount of rods. Like, I mean, just to bait 12 rods, that's gonna, I mean, that's a lot of skipjack you need. So I don't use many baits, but if I had to buy these things, I don't, I wouldn't like catfishing as much, I tell you that. I mean, it's just, it'd take a rich man to go catfishing. If you want to be a catfisherman in a boat these days, it about takes a rich man to do it anyway. Them fancy sea arcs and them other big aluminum boats there, man, them things are, it's getting to the point now, it's about like being a bass fisherman with their $100,000 boat rigs. I was thinking about that a while back. You've got all these catfish tournaments popping up. You know, we've got our kayak tournament series. And it's part of the King Cat National Boat Tournament Series. We're basically their kayak division this year. And King Cat, they go all over the country and they get a good turnout of competitors in their tournaments. And there's a lot of other tournaments in the country that are either like local trails or like Tennessee River trails or just like big specialized one-off events that pop up through the year. And, you know, these tournaments, they're all weighing fish, all right? depending on the tournament and the regulations, like here in Tennessee, the rules are weird because the state of Tennessee allows you to keep one catfish over 34 inches. So if you're in a tournament and you're fishing by yourself, you can only have one catfish over 34 inches in your possession in the boat. So these tournaments will have rules like that. Like if you're fishing by yourself, you'll have one fish over 34 inches and two under 34 inches. If you got two people in your boat or more, then you can have two fish over 34 inches and one fish under. And I'm like, it don't really seem like it. We just dropped that rod down. Let me get this thing out of the way. We just dropped that new bait down. He's swimming with it. Watch him go. He's got it. He's got it. Tighten that drag just a smidge there. Yeah, we got another one, man. We just lowered that new bait down. Maybe switching up baits was the ticket. That other one had been hit and probably knocked some of the blood and juices out of it. Just the bait, that sinker hitting bottom too, may have stirred up some mud when I first dropped it down too. We're gonna throw another one out behind us in a minute. We may end up regretting it when a big fish spins us around everywhere. Boy, look at this. This is another good one. Oh, he's in the, where's he hooked at? Is he hooked in the side? No. Okay, he's got the stinger in the side. He's got the cut bait hook in the mouth. Y'all, I think that one's bigger than the last one. And he didn't barely fight. What an odd... Here's what I need to do. Oh, he's gonna take off now. Okay. I'm like, there's no way this fish is done. He's barely fought. I need to slide this cutting board and bait up under the seat because this in here is gonna take up some floor space on us. I'll tell you what, y'all, the bite thus far been a little slow. I think yesterday I had 3 or 4 fish in the first hour. But yesterday, the fish I got in the first hour were small. Both of these, now he's showing out, oh Lord. Both of these fish we've got here have been pretty good quality. I want one or, really I want both on a fishing trip, right? I want to have good quantity of quality fish. That's the best option. But if I can't have that, then I want one or the other. I either want a lot of fish or I want good quality fish. You know, again, preferably both. I'd like to have a good quantity of quality fish, but if you can't have it all, I want one or the other. And yesterday we had quantity and one really good quality, and today, not much quantity, but we're getting quality fish. This one here's bigger than the last one. Calm it down, fish. Calm it down. Let me have that hook out you. You got 2 hooks in you. This one got him in the mouth. Got you in the mouth, and that in there got you in the side. I guess we'll be cutting another bait here in a minute. Let me set y'all back up here. Goodness gracious, I gotta work on that mount there for this camera to be able to set it up there good. Okay. Nice, man. It's another fun sizer. Not a very good fight for his size though, was it? I mean, even now, I would have thought we'd got him in here and he'd be just acting a fool, but Not the case. Nevertheless, you good for a picture anyway, fish. All right, get him out here. He's mad at me. His belly button piercing, I left him there, is bleeding a little bit. He'll go file a report against me. He'll call the law, you watch and see. Catfish are like that, buddy. They'll turn you in quicker than damn it. You'll be a police officer out here getting a statement from me when I pull up to the damn launch here after a while. All right, let's see what we can do on getting us another bait on. I guess we can just go ahead and drop this one down that we got cut for the other line. Boy, he slimed us up good too, didn't he? They got slime everywhere. Goodness gracious. Well, you know what? I gotta cut another one in. Oh, goodness. We got this. Here, let's do this right quick. Let's do this. We got fish unders, man. We got fish unders. Let's just drop this one down. I want to cut another chunk. I want to get this one down before we reel in that other one there. If he's still on. I don't know if he's still on or not now. Yeah, I think well, I don't know. We're going to pick up on it. If he's on, he ain't moving, but there's all kinds of fish right there on the graph. We've got some working through right now, apparently. Let's pick up on it. Is he on there? Yeah, he's on there. He's just sitting there. He's just sitting there with it. He hit it and just gave up instantly. These fish must have been partying all night. They wore out. Well, business just picked up, y'all. One fish in the first hour, and now we got two back to back. This one, what a stupid fish. This fish right here, he's knocked our head bait off, and he ain't even got a hook in him. He's lassoed. This one here has lassoed. No, I take that back. He's got the stinger fly hook in the mouth. Boy, fish, you are a special kind of dumb right here. Get yourself all wrapped up like this. Well, that's why he instantly quit moving, is every time they lasso themselves, they quit moving, and now when they get unlassoed, they do this. Every time. Something about that constriction on them restricts their movement, and they just calm. There we go. All right, fish. Got a fly fish here. We caught a bunch of fish yesterday on the fly. It was they were definitely into the fly yesterday. That one right there, he wanted to go, didn't he? Okay, we gotta cut another bait real quick. He knocked our head off. We need one too for that back rod that I still ain't thrown out. They want to keep biting like this. May not even need to throw it out. Probably will though anyway. Yesterday I threw out a rod yesterday, but the wind was kind of keeping me positioned normal. But we got some fish on that rod that I'd cast out. We'll throw one out and see. If it turns into a mess, we can always put it up. I like just, when I'm in this kayak, trying to keep things as minimal and simple as possible. My other kayak's a little bigger, so I can get by with some more rods, but it's kind of, I don't know, I like fishing with two rods. It's enough that you can experiment with two different types of baits or two different cuts of baits and keep your baits exactly where you want them when you're suspending. You know, like today, we're right here at the bottom of this drop. So fish, they can't work up and down this ledge or go in and out of this creek without seeing our baits. And so when you got your baits precisely where they need to be, I don't feel like you need a bunch of baits. You know, Ryan and I, talking the other day, his philosophy is different than mine. You know, he's in his kayak, he's running a bunch of rods. He's in tournaments, he's fishing 8 rods off his kayak, running them planer boards and stuff. And his mindset is the more baits you have out, the more fish you can catch. And you know, my mindset's kind of the opposite of that. Mine is, if I can't catch them with 2 baits, I'm probably not going to catch them with 8. And if I'm where I need to be, when I need to be there, then 2 baits is going to have my hands full. I'm not going to be able to keep them in the water. So it's just a matter of your own perception, your own philosophy, what the right thing to do is. But I do enjoy keeping it simple. I just, when I started fishing out of a kayak, I was running 2 rods, and then over time I tried to push it and go as many as I could, and then kind of come back and settled on 4 when suspending. And then, you know, here I am now a few years later, I'm kind of like, well, 2's kind of more enjoyable. It's a progression of life, y'all. It's like that with everything. We start out keeping things simple, we overcomplicate it, and then we work our way back to simple. Yeah, we're going to try throwing this 1 rod out behind us over here. The wind's got us going this way now. We'll just sling it back over here. This may or may not work out. If we had current or we had wind, I'd feel better about this. But since we got neither, okay. All right, we got that behind us now. Y'all holler if that rod goes down. I may not see it. What was I talking about before all that madness hit? Oh, I was talking about the catfish tournaments. So these boat tournaments, you know, and then again, there's several trails. There's King Cat's National Trail. You got the large one-off events that these various cities put on, local trails and whatnot, but they all go by weight. And I kind of feel like, and this ain't gonna be popular with some catfishing tournament folks, whether it's competitors or directors. None of these people ever want you to say anything to suggest that they're doing things wrong or that they could do something better. Nobody wants that. And I get it, I'm the same way, you know. Nobody likes criticism. But with all these tournaments going by weight, they're doing a few things. First off, it's hard on the fish, because a person catches let's say a 50+ pound fish. It gets put in a live well that's ultimately going to be cramped. I know that some of these big Sea Arc boats, they got 80-gallon live wells. But you throw 50-pound fish in there, and, you know, depending on the tournament, they may have 3 fish limit, maybe a 5 fish limit. So you're cramming a bunch of fish in a small place. And then you're running up and down river, jostling them fish around all day long. Then you go to a weigh-in, you stand in line. Them fish are held up out of the water after they've been in that live well for hours and hours. And then they're released into a different part of the river than they were pulled out of. And to my knowledge, there hasn't been any kind of mortality studies on catfish. But common sense and logic should tell you that they're not 100% surviving. Okay, they're just not. And the studies for bass have been really eye-opening. Like, there was a study done a few years ago, and I'd heard one of the Tennessee wildlife biologists talking about these bass tournaments. When they're fishing in water above 80 degrees in the summer months, 80% of the bass they release after the tournament die within 3 days. 80% in water above 80 degrees. That is a huge percentage. Now, those fish are alive at the weigh-in. They swim off after they're released, but just the stress and the lactic acid buildup, they die a few days later. And with catfish are kind of known to be a hardier fish species. They can tolerate worse conditions for longer periods of time than certain other types of fish. But again, when you're cramping them up in a small live well, running up and down river, bouncing around, standing in line, waiting to weigh them in, releasing them in a different part of the body of water, the mortality rate isn't zero. Like, some of those fish aren't going to make it. And so, from that aspect, I think the format they're using for these tournaments, by going by weight, is a little bit antiquated. I think the way that we do things in the kayak world, by measuring fish, getting a length, it's a lot better on the fish, because you reel the fish up. And most of you who watch my videos, you've seen my tournament videos, but if you're new, how the process works for the kayak tournaments, we have an approved measuring board. They're checked the night before the tournament, and they're marked so that when we take the pictures on the board, the tournament director knows we're using the board that was checked. We have a unique identifier code that we have to submit the pictures with the fish, and then we have date, time, and GPS stamp that shows that fish was caught in tournament hours, in the body of water we're supposed to be, yada, yada, yada. Now, is that 100% foolproof from cheating? No. People are going to cheat no matter what. Okay, that's the way it is. Same thing with the boat tournaments. You can weigh fish, but, I mean, hell, them guys got caught shoving weights in the walleyes there last year. So, I mean, anytime you got money and ego on the line in a competition, there's going to be some people that bend the rules, okay? Most of the people in these tournaments, 99.9% of them, good people, honest people. But you're always going to have a few bad apples no matter what you're doing. So nothing's 100%. But when we measure these fish, we reel them up, we put them on the board, we get our picture, the fish is then released. So it's not put in a live well for hours. It's not out of the water for an excessively long period of time. It's released right where you caught it. And, you know, there's not been any studies to my knowledge on mortality rates of these tournaments, but I have to believe, common sense would say that the way we're doing things in the kayak world with length, the mortality rate should significantly be less than the boat tournament world where they're going by weights. Okay, so that's number one. Here's the other part of this equation. And you can make an argument for or against. You know, I'm not a biologist, so I'm speaking just my opinion here. I have no facts to back up what I'm saying as far as the mortality rates and fish dying after tournaments. So you want to attack my credibility for what I'm saying? Look, I get it. I understand. It's all opinion. So go at it with that if you want to. But here's what you can't dispute. Whether you give a damn about the fish surviving or not, if you're running a tournament or if you are a competitor in a tournament, you should care about the money, right? If you're a tournament director, you want to draw in as many competitors to your tournament as possible. That's going to build the prize pool. Having as many people as possible show up helps the tournament director then go to the various cities and towns, to their Board of Tourism or Chamber of Commerce or whoever is in charge of cutting them a check, right? Because a lot of these towns, when you see a big tournament in a town with a huge payout, most of the time the city that tournament is being held in is chipping in some cash for that through the Board of Tourism or Chamber of Commerce. They do that to bring people, have an event to bring people in so that people book hotel rooms and eat at restaurants and buy gas and shop at the various stores there, right? It boosts the town's economy to have these big events. So from a business perspective, if you are a tournament director, it's in your best interest to set your tournaments up in such a way to draw the most number of people in. And from the competitor side of it, well, if you're competing in a tournament, you obviously, don't you want the biggest prize pool possible? You want to be competing for as much money as possible. So it's in your best interest that more people show up, and that when more people show up, that these cities give more money to the tournament directors to increase the prize pool. So with that in mind, when you have these tournaments that go by weight, a lot of people in the catfishing world are automatically priced out and excluded from competing in the tournaments because they don't have a boat that can compete. If you've got a little 14, 16-foot John boat, you can go out and you can fish damn near any river in the country. You can catch you may be the best cat fisherman on the face of the planet in your 14 or 16-foot John boat. But if you're trying to compete in a tournament and you've got to keep these fish alive, you can't necessarily put a 50 or 80 or 100-gallon live well in your 14-foot John boat. You're going to be overweight, over capacity. You can't do it. And there's a lot of people that are excellent cat fishermen that either just have no desire to have a big 22-foot Sea Arc boat, or they just financially can't afford to have a big 22-foot Sea Arc boat, right? Not everybody wants to spend $80,000 on a damn boat. But if you're going to fish in one of these tournaments and you need a huge live well to be able to weigh in these fish, you pretty much gotta have one, and then you get these tournaments that require, here's the thing. If you're measuring fish and fish are being caught and released where they're at, that guy in the 14-foot John boat, he can go out there and fish. And so when a big tournament comes to one of these various towns, the locals in that town, who now currently aren't signing up because they can't support those fish, they can't get them to weigh in, those guys now sign up if you're doing a length tournament. So you boost the number of people signing up, which then boosts the prize pool, which then hopefully gets even more people to want to sign up to compete for those bigger prize pools. You get more people coming to these towns, which draws in more money for the local economies, which then hopefully gets the Chamber of Commerce to kick a bigger check to the tournament director. Everybody wins in that situation. Like, it's good. It's just good for everybody. It's good for the fish. It's good for the tournament competitors. It's good for the tournament directors. It's good for the various cities. So I don't understand why in 2024 these catfish tournaments are still weighing in fish. And I guess it's this notion that you're creating a spectacle, right? They've got a stage, the tournament competitors, they go up there, they weigh in their fish, they hold it up in front of people. Look at us. Look at us. We're creating a spectacle here. We're putting on a show. That's good in theory if people show up. But the tournaments I've been to, the weigh-ins and stuff, nobody's there. It's friends and families and a handful of locals. It ain't drawing in hundreds of people to come watch a weigh-in. And even most of these tournament organizations, they're doing live streams at their weigh-ins. Look at the view counts. Nobody's watching. Nobody gives a damn. If you're not in the tournament, if you're not like competing in the tournament, nobody cares. You either got to be in the tournament, you got to have like your family member in a tournament or a close friend that you're going to follow along, or it's got to be somebody that you're watching, like a, like a YouTuber or something. Like me, I post my tournament videos. They do fairly well. But if you're just a random person out in society and there's a tournament going on, you don't give a damn. Oh, nice takedown. Nice takedown. On the head. On the head. Oh boy, nice takedown on the head. Oh, buddy. I love seeing that. I love seeing that right there. That's a blue. He's rolling. Oh. Boy, y'all, that's so much fun. I can't tell you, especially in this kayak, man, because when that rod tip goes over, the kayak starts to lean a little bit. Oh man, it's fun. You can't get that in a 22-foot Sea Arc, folks. You just can't. Y'all, I think of the fish we've caught, at least of the two big ones, this one here I think is going to be the smaller of the three fun sizers thus far, and that was probably the best takedown yet. It's another one though that ain't fought particularly well, but the takedown was nice. We'll just let him hang out. These fish, I feel like they're just going to thrash around and take off any second. I guess is he done? We'll see when we get him in here. Come here, fish, if that's all you got. These fish have partied all night long, man. They done wore themselves out here. They thought they was stopping at the Waffle House as they're all hung over and everything. Now he's going to take off. That's what I was afraid of happening. That right there. Yeah, my baits is their late night, early morning Waffle House experience here after they've been out partying all night. Come here, fish. Before you pull that hook out, you just skin hook there. We may get a quick release on this. That may be the way to do it. Well, he just rehooked himself now. He was barely skin hooked there, and now you run that hook through. You old fish. There you go, buddy. Let's hold you up. Y'all hop up here in the front seat, take a picture of me with this fish, why don't you? Oh, hold on. That Novair got hit now. I gotta fix this camera mount though, I know that for sure. That's another project we'll add to my list after we're done spraying weeds. There we go, man. Another one, long, skinny fish. Nice. Odd fight. Nice takedown though. Had a nice adrenaline rush there, getting my heart rate up, and I saw that rod go over. Still got that rod behind us there too. All right, man. See ya. We're getting some fish here, man. It's not the numbers of yesterday yet, but there's some fish over here. I think most of these creeks right now if they got bait in them or they got mussel beds, there's gonna be some fish working up right now. And just setting up here, yeah, we could be dragging. That's what all the guys that were down here for the tournament were doing. They were dragging these creeks and stuff and getting bit. But I'd much rather be doing this. This is more fun. You don't get those kind of takedowns when you're dragging with 100 yards of line out. You know, you get this short line takedown. You got 40 feet of line down there. That's fun, man. Take a look at this head. It ain't been that long since I switched out baits. We got everything's tangled up there. There we go. I'm gonna drop it back down. I'm gonna drop it back down. We just switched that out not long ago. But we're not gonna, if it don't get bit again soon, we'll switch it out because we're not gonna be conservative today. But yeah, y'all, you know, as far as the tournament thing goes, like, it's just, it don't make any damn sense to me, the way we do things anymore. And listen, I'm not saying that the way we do things in the kayak game there with length and all, I'm not saying that's necessarily the best. But of the options that we have currently available, it's better than weighing fish. Better for the fish, it's better for the competitors, it's better for the cities, tournament, like it's, everybody wins. I just don't know why. Other than just the fact that you don't have a stage with people holding up their prized catches there. But I don't know. It's all in how you sell it. I mean, for our tournaments in the kayaks, we have a live leaderboard. So you can build up some hype with the leaderboard. I mean, I'll share that out with the audience here on YouTube. I mean, I've got people that follow along with me, send messages, leave comments and stuff throughout the tournament day. And, you know, a tournament organization could, if they had a following on social media, could do the same type of thing with a live leaderboard that you would get with measuring and going by length. And then you could still have a big spectacle at the end when everybody gets back. Like in our tournaments, we'll have a check-in location. Everybody has to be back by a certain time. And, you know, we sit around there and talk and share our stories. And I oftentimes announce where I'm going to be so the YouTube audience can come out and hang out too, and usually have a few people show up. This last tournament here on Chickamauga, I didn't do it for the tournament check-in at the end of the tournament, but we had our pre-tournament meetup where our boards get checked and we get our identifiers the night before the tournament at Catfish Sumo. And so I had made an announcement about that, and we had some people show up, come out and hang out there. And thank you to those of you who come out. Me and Daphne the dog was there, and Daniel had an open house there at Catfish Sumo and had some snacks, and had people brought their lawn chairs and stuff, sat around outside, and had stuff going on inside, and everybody was hanging out and having a good time. You can do that kind of thing with a boat tournament without having to fish up on the stage and whatnot. So it's just, you know, it's one of the things, you got to change a culture. The culture's always been fish are waiting, and it's hard to change that mentality overnight. So it'll take time, but I think it'll eventually get there. It's just bad. I mean, just, you know, I'm speaking from opinion, but it just seems better for everybody involved. But again, before y'all light my ass up in the comment box, I fully admit I'm not a fisheries biologist. Some people will undoubtedly claim, well, you're laying that fish on the board, it's bad for the fish's slime coat. Probably is. You can wet your board, but they're still going to lose some slime. They're going to lose slime in the net too when they're thrashing around, or on the floor of a boat also. So they're going to lose some slime either way. You can say, well, you laying that fish on the board, taking your pictures, it takes forever. It really don't, but you know, you can make that argument. I would argue most of those fish in a boat tournament spend more time being held up. They spend more time on the scale and being held up for the photo op afterwards than what they would spend on our boards while we take photos. But somebody would have to do the math on that and do a study on it, and I honestly don't care enough to partake in that myself. I had been concerned about it just from my own standpoint there a few years ago when I first started doing the tournaments, that maybe I was taking too long. But it really it's not a long process. If you got your camera ready before you land the fish, then it's just a matter of getting them on the board, and your smaller fish take longer because they don't want to lay still. They want to flop. Your bigger fish lay there all calm, so you can do those fish very quickly. And so I just think it's a better process. That's just me. I'm one man, folks. I'm one man. I'm a trendsetter and a culture changer, but I can only do so much. I'll tell you what I am doing today, though. I'm having a good time reeling in some fish. Not many of them today compared to yesterday. I don't know how many I got yesterday, but it was several, and it was even more bites. I lost as many fish as I landed yesterday. So I could have, if I'd had a day where it just wasn't everything weird happening, I could have had double the amount of fish. But we've had more fun sizers today than what I got yesterday. Now, the biggest one yesterday was a dang good fish, but I caught him later than I caught him right before. Well, I filmed for like 4 hours till my battery died, and then I stayed out here like another, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour, and I got a couple more small fish, but that big one ate there 4 hours into the day, so I guess it was around 11 or so when it hit. And I would assume that maybe with the morning temperatures here being so cold today, these backwaters may be cooling off a little bit. It may be more of an afternoon bite. My tournament day experience, I caught fish in the morning, and then my biggest fish came about an hour to go in the tournament, so it's probably around 1:30, 2 o'clock. My biggest fish came. But I ain't got that kind of time today. I got stuff to do at the house. Assuming my computer gets delivered, I don't want it sitting out there on the porch, even though it's probably safe. I don't want to chance it. And honestly, this is kind of how I like to fish. I know some people like to just go out sunrise to sunset, pull a 12-hour day fishing. They're marathoners. I'm just not that kind of person. I love fishing. I have a lot of fun doing it. But I like doing it 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours if the bite's really on. This one got hit. It's on the chunk. Watch him take it down. You can't probably see it, but we're leaning a little bit in the kayak, and that's awesome. He still got it, I think. Yep. Let's reel us in another one, folks. We didn't get the hard takedown like I wanted, but you can still feel it leaning a little bit. That's fun. I'm weird like that, y'all. A lot of these guys today get into catfishing out of a kayak. They're cat fishermen who fish out of a kayak, not necessarily kayak fishermen who want to catch catfish. There's a difference between the two. This fish don't know it. He gets a hook in the jaw either way. Did you leave our bait on, fish? Nope. That's fine. We're going to switch it out anyway. We're going to switch it out. We're going to put a new head on that other rod too while we're at it. Oh, you're nasty, fish. You need to say excuse me when you do that in front of ladies. There might be a lady or two watching. That fish got no manners. I don't know who raised him. Probably his grandma, because he don't know who his parents are. His daddy's in jail. His mama's out chasing men all the time. She ain't got no time for him. So his grandma's raised him. Get another skippy. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just put us a new head. We'll put a new chunk. We'll just spruce everything up. Yeah, I guess because when I got started kayak fishing, you didn't have the big, super wide, super stable kayaks that you have today. And so that's what kind of made me fall in love with kayak fishing, is the adrenaline rush of catching fish in a kayak. But nowadays, you get some of these kayaks, like, my Hobie Pro Angler is pretty stable. My other kayak there, the Old Town Autopilot kayak that I used to have, it was the most stable kayak I've ever been in. Man, that thing is like standing in a boat. And when you have a stable kayak like that, you just don't get the same. Don't get me wrong, but there's a big splash. It's fun. Catching fish is fun regardless, okay? But you don't get the same rush. And a lot of these people that are coming into the sport now, they're going right from the bank or right from the boat world into a kayak that's super stable. And so they don't really know what they're missing. Or they get a kayak that's, a little less stable. And they're instantly kind of, the first few times you go out in a kayak, a real, not these, super stable versions, but a normal width, a normal stability type kayak, the first few times you go out, it takes a little while to get used to it, get your sea legs, if you will. There's a process to landing a fish in a kayak that isn't as stable. And it can be a little bit intimidating at first, a little bit scary. And I think people shy away from it, and they just end up missing out on the experience of it. So that's where I say it's a difference between somebody who's coming into the sport, jumping right into a really stable kayak. They are more cat fishermen who just want to fish out of a kayak. Whereas me, I guess I kind of fancy myself a kayak fisherman who really enjoys catching catfish out of it. So nothing, it don't matter what you are. There's not a right or wrong answer to it. We're all individuals. Different things make us happy. So, just a personal preference thing. But me, and I mentioned this yesterday, I want all the tools available. If I'm in a tournament, or if I'm trying to do YouTube here at a high level, I want all the tools available to me that I can possibly get. So I want a kayak that's really stable. That way I can put the motor and graph and be able to do the tournaments and all that. Like, I want to be able to do that. But at the same time, just from a personal enjoyment standpoint, I want a kayak like this that's just more fun to fish out of. You know, I want it all. If I was just doing fishing for fun, like just my own personal enjoyment, I probably wouldn't have the other setup at all. I would just do this. But you are, if you're in a kayak like this, you are going to be a bit limited. These smaller size, you're limited on how many rods you can put out. I'm not going to be putting a motor on this kayak, so some of your techniques are going to be limited. Your range is going to be limited. You know, you're not going to pull planer boards in this kayak. You're going to need a bigger kayak with a bow mount motor if you want to pull planer boards. So you're going to sacrifice some techniques, which for me, not really a big deal. I hate pulling planer boards anyway. I'd rather just not catch fish. This is right here's what I like doing, and so I can do this on just about any kayak. I mean, I can mount 2 rod holders. If I got in-hole access, like this kayak here, it's got that front hatch, which is half hanging on because I got my graph. I got to mount this graph in a better way on here. But I can get up inside the hole there, and so those flat surface areas there where I've mounted my rod holders, like those are bolted through. And this Old Town, the plastic in the kayak here, it's real thick. So like I don't even have to use a backing plate. Like I've just got the bolt and a washer and a nut on there, and it's bolted through, and it's solid, man. And for what I like doing out here, like this is plenty. This is plenty enough setup for me. And this kayak, I mean, it can go anywhere. I mean, it's light enough. I can launch it here, like in this crappy launch site back of this creek. Like I can easily put it in here. But at the same time too, it's called the big water model because it's made for shedding water. Like the hull, the nose of the hull kind of plows through waves, like cuts through them. And any water that comes over the bow, like it's made to disperse it. You don't get any water inside that hatch. Like it's raised, and I mean, it's very well designed. So like I can take this same kayak, I can put it in here in this shallow backwater creek, or I can take this thing out in the ocean and go catch sharks in it. You can do it all in one kayak. So I mean, this of all the kayaks I've ever had, this one is my favorite to fish out of and to catch fish in. But there are going to be things I can't do in it. And so when it comes to tournaments, for instance, I fished one tournament in this kayak last year. I'm probably going to take this with me to Sandusky Bay in Ohio. I think that tournament is I think it's in June, maybe. June or July. I'm probably going to take this one up there for that, but you've got your pedal drive here, and so if we've got our big catfish measuring boards going across, you're really limited on your floor space, where you're going to put your legs, where you're going to put big fish, and you know, so it's tough. So we get another rod hit. Guess he just took a little nip, but you know, there are situations where there was a tournament last year on Nickajack where the water was blown out. They were running a ton of flow through the dams. And so I wanted to go fish a creek just below the dam. And I knew even with my kayak with the motor, the current was so strong, I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to get back upstream to my car if I used it. So this kayak here, I put in actually in the creek that I was going to be fishing. I dragged it down through the woods and launched it. I was able to do it. And Sandusky Bay, now Sandusky Bay is huge. Sandusky Bay is up on, I've lost my mind here, folks. Lake Erie, I'm wanting to say. It's one of the Great Lakes up there. It's in northern Ohio. And it's a huge bay. And so the water, I mean, if the wind's blowing up there, that water's a rocking, man. And I went up there last year and fished that tournament. It's a channel cat lake, huge channel cats up there. You know, my favorite fish and all. That's sarcasm, folks, in case you're 10% of the population that don't understand sarcasm, which is a surprisingly high number of people that don't pick up on sarcasm, 10%. But anyway, I hate channel cats. But I went up there last year and fished that tournament, and I had my Hobie kayak with the motor. And the afternoon of tournament day, the wind kind of started to pick up a little bit. And Sandusky Bay, you get a little wind, man, that chop is going. I mean, you're rolling out there. And it wasn't horrible. This rod's getting hit. You think he's got it this time? He's swimming with it. Watch my line go. Watch my line go here. This is going to be a better takedown right here, folks. Come on, fish. Let's reel you in. This fish says he's going to take off and go. He's heard there's channel cats in Sandusky Bay. He's going to head up there himself. He's a swimming along. Boy, just that wind. Here comes the wind. I just took my hood off my head, and that wind hit my ears. I'm going to put it back on. I thought this morning, real hard about wearing the toboggan out here. But I knew it was going to heat up before I left, so. Boy, this fish is, I don't think he ain't going to be no monster, but he's wound down there. He's fighting more than some of his friends we've reeled in today. Let's see here. It's another fun size, man. No monsters, but the overall quality has been better than yesterday. Now, we're still liable to hook a monster at any time, man. Anytime. You never know when that big bite's coming. Even this fish here, he knows everything. He don't know when it's coming either. Oh, Lord. He said, you didn't know that was coming, did you, Justin? He just splashed me in the face, probably splashed y'all. Got water running down my face right now. I'm gonna let him do your thing there, fish. Go ahead. Get it out of your system. I want you to get every moment of camera time you got. I'd say we got all day, but we don't. Some of us got weeds to spray today, fish. I got a whole list of honey-do chores at the house waiting on me. Come over here, fishy. No, Nope. I don't think you're gonna get no front camera time, fish. I don't think you are. He's big enough to justify it. Should I give him front camera time? You know what I'm gonna do, fish? Just because you splashed me and the camera, potentially, I'm gonna put the camera up here just so I can see the lens to see if I need to clean it off. That's how that fish, he worked me. This fish manipulated me into giving him front camera time. He knew if he splashed, he'd get to see himself on camera there. There he is, folks. Small fun size right there. Another bite though, man. We're getting some action here today. This creek is producing. Definitely makes me want to come back and try out this one that's the next creek down too, just because there's so many fish just in this general area of the river here. It won't be tomorrow, but it's potentially coming in the near future. Y'all may be seeing that on an upcoming trip. You're gonna see me put another bait on here in a second though. Didn't get hold of it. All right. But yeah, so Sandusky Bay, I'm up there last year, tournament day. And the wind kicks up a little bit. Not horribly bad, but it don't take a lot of wind to get some big waves. And then, of course, tournament day is a weekend. And so there's a lot of pleasure boat traffic going by, putting off big waves. And my Hobie has a big front hatch on it. And it was honestly, in my opinion, poorly designed. You know, this kayak here, for instance, the front hatch, see how that lip right there is raised up? So when water comes in, it can't just, it's going to run out before it gets over the lip of that, right? Well, the Hobie Pro Angler that I have, it has a lip like that, but it's kind of, the way the lid goes on, it's kind of recessed. And when you have the bow mount motor, which I have, and you got all that extra weight on the front, it don't drain like it should. And so water pools in that little channel, and it ends up, a lot of it, getting inside your hull. And so when you're in a situation where you're in some choppy water or big waves over the course of the day, you're going to get water in your hull. And man, when I got back to the launch after Sandusky last year, I bet you I had close to 10 gallons of water in my hull. I mean, I was sloshing around, and I don't care how stable your kayak is. When you get a hull full of water, you lose stability quick. As you're sloshing around, the water's sloshing around, and it gets sketchy pretty quick. So I think this year, when I go up there for the tournament, I'm going to take this kayak, because there's so many channel cats on Sandusky Bay. It's hard not to catch them, honestly. I mean, they are everywhere up there. And personally, you know, I have no real great desire on a personal standpoint to go up there anyway, just because I'm not into channel cats. And there's some big ones up there. I caught the biggest channel cats of my life up there in the days leading up to the tournament and the tournament, right? So, I mean, they're huge channel cats. I'm still not into it. So, from a personal enjoyment standpoint, I don't have a great desire to go, but even from a tournament standpoint, that rod's already getting hit. We just dropped that bait down. That's a slow pull right there, ain't it? He's gonna let that bait go. Yeah, I knew that one wasn't gonna hook up. It was a small fish on a slow takedown. There wasn't nothing. He didn't have the hook, and he wasn't gonna have the hook penetrate him even if he did. But Sandusky, the way the fishing is up there, like, I almost don't even feel like there's strategy in it, because those fish are moving and there's so many of them. It's basically who's going to get lucky. You know, most tournaments you go to, I feel like there's a little bit of luck in any tournament, because you got to get the right bite at the right time. Head bait. But Sandusky, I feel like it's a crapshoot. I just don't. I'm going to go and try to get lucky, but I'm taking this kayak, and I'm probably only going to go up maybe a day in advance. Just mess around. May try to catch a carp while I'm up there. It's a nasty place too. Like last year, there's dead fish, dead catfish, and dead drum everywhere. It stinks. And I've never seen so many snakes in my life as what I saw at Sandusky Bay. I mean, they were everywhere, and I'm not a snake person. Like, I don't like snakes. Look at this fish, y'all. Boy, here's another. This one is a big one, man. Okay, he's gonna act out now. I had no idea I was pulling up a fish that size. No idea. The takedown wasn't that severe, and the fight was not. These fish have been fighting weak today, man. That's been the trend out here this morning for the size. Like they are not fighting hard today. Do you think, I mean, could it have anything to do? The full moon, I don't know when the official full moon was. You know, there's like a 2 or 3 day period where it looks full, but I don't know what the actual full moon is. Today's hell, I don't know what today is, 20 something. Today's 23rd. But I don't know when the full moon, but I don't know, could that possibly have an effect on them? Not fighting hard? It don't make sense. You know, one fish, sure, but I mean, all these fish, none of them have really fought incredibly hard. He's acting out more now than what he did initially, but a fish that size, you'd expect more than what I'm getting here. Take what we can get though, folks. You know what I mean? We take what we can get around here. Beggars can't be choosers. This fish, he wanted him a free meal, and this free meal had a hook in it, and that's just something he's got to deal with. He ain't got the energy to go out and be chasing a live fish. This fish is too damn late. He couldn't even pick some of them mussels off a bed up there. All right, fish, I'm ready to land you now. I'm ready if you are. We'll definitely give you some front camera time. Oh, Lord, he splashed again here. He's got my face dried off from the last one. Okay, be good now. Be good to me. Be good to me. Come on in. Uh-huh. You stink, fish. Lord. I don't know if he burped or if he doo-dooed all over me or something here, but this fish stinks. You need to take a bath, fish. Let me set y'all back up here. I want y'all to take a picture of me with this fish, would you? I gotta fix this camera mount though. We gotta work on that. There we go. Now we're cooking with Crisco. Look at this sow right here, this old fat sow. Nice, man. Way bigger fish than the takedown or the fight would suggest. I mean, I don't know what it is today. They just wore out. You're taking it easy on me, I guess, fish. I don't know. They know I got to do some yard chores this afternoon. They don't want to wear me out here reeling them in and landing them. That's a solid fish, though, man. He's no. I got water running down the back of my head now. That's fun, though. Danged old fish, man. He got me. He got me on the way out. Got me. Splashed me in the face on the way up. I got water on my winter tents right now. And he got me down the back of my head here on the way out. Fish says I need a bath or something. Goodness gracious. Well, I don't know why I'm picking up that rod when he hit this one. I've lost my dang mind, y'all. I'm gonna drop this bait back down. It still looks really good. That rod behind us over here, we cast it out, what, an hour ago now? To my knowledge, it still ain't been messed with. Ain't nothing on it. Yesterday I was getting some fish on it, but The wind had me positioned yesterday. You know, again, I was over there on the other side of the channel in front of that creek, and the wind was blowing downstream, so I had that bait cast out downriver, down below that creek. And this one here, we've kind of got up more shallow going this direction, so that may be playing a role in it. But either way. So, Sandusky Bay, I'll be up there in this kayak. Probably go up a day, maybe like a day and a half early. I'll spend the night, fish the following day, weather permitting, of course. And then fish the tournament and probably drive home right after the tournament. I'm thinking about going to Reelfoot. Me and Ryan Bortz had been talking about this for a while. He's been wanting to fish on Reelfoot Lake. I've wanted to fish there my whole life, never have. It's in western Tennessee. The lake is on, allegedly, and I'm no expert on this, so you might want to fact check me, but the lake was formed by an earthquake. We had a bad earthquake out there, I think it's 1800 and something. And it caused the, oh, another fish. That one's pulling line, buddy. That one's pulling line right there. This fish said he'll show me something. He said them other fish ain't lived up to the hype, but this one will. On the chunk, man. We got fish working through right now, buddy. Got them coming through here. It was a little bit later morning bite. We could have slept in another hour and come out here, but it was a pretty sunrise though. Y'all know me, I like them sunrise. Fishing sunrise to lunch, that's my favorite thing to do. Spring, summer, and fall. I just don't do it in the winter because it's too cold for me, but it's hard to beat a early morning sunrise out here in East Tennessee. Watch this fish now. We'll get him up here. He won't be big at all after that big takedown. I ain't got to look at him yet. We ought to be getting close over here. Still ain't got us no flathead. Yeah, well, he's a fun sizer. He's mad too. Definitely worth the drive down here today, folks. Fishing's been better here than what it's been at home lately. So it's totally worth it. And I'm gonna be back too, because I want to hit this other creek down here, and I got some more places marked on the map that I want to fish. I just historically haven't fished Chickamauga very much. It's far enough away that I can't just make a quick trip. But Nickajack is the next reservoir down, and so historically, like if I'm gonna drive far enough or long enough to come down here, I might as well just keep going and go another 30 minutes going down to Nickajack. So that's historically what I've done. So I need to spend more time out here exploring. Like, there's so many places, like right here today, never fished here before. Never fished this spot. That creek down there, never fished it before. Like, there's so many untapped places that I'm sure other people have fished, but I haven't. So it's a kind of an excitement, you know, when you're fishing a new place, a new spot. You don't know what to expect, really. This pattern, though, I mean, you get in these creek mouths at some point in time, especially if it's got bait, if you're seeing a lot of shad in a particular creek, if you know there's crappie in a particular creek, or in this case, I saw all them shells yesterday when I was loading the kayak. I'm like, there's mussel beds in this creek. Like, there's going to be some fish working through at some point in time. Now, when fish work up into these creeks, I've said this before, don't necessarily know where they're going when they move up in there. They could go anywhere. They're going to go feed. But to get in and out, they're coming through the mouth of it. So you set up in the mouth, you intercept them. We just intercepted this one. That right fish. You got intercepted. This fish here, he's in Tennessee, you know, he's a Tennessee Vols fan. He knows all about interceptions. We've been throwing a lot of them for years. Give me a hook. Give me it back. There you go. Throw that over there. All right, folks. I'll put you back up here front. I want you to take another picture for me. Y'all my official photographers on this trip. If y'all ain't gonna reel them in, the least you can do is take pictures of the ones I'm reeling in. There we go, man. Another solid, fun-sized fish. Better fight on this one than some of the others. It's fun, y'all. I'm having a good time out here. I hope y'all are too. We started out kind of slow. One fish there in the first hour, but business picked up as the morning has went on. Let's put us another bait on. Even with 2 rods, we burning through some bait now. Now that we're getting all these fish. That's all right. I wanted to use it. I wanted to get out here and get it going today. Try to restock, get us some more, and then maybe get back down here in a couple days, hit that other creek. All right. There's an airplane going over right now. I wonder how that's picking up on the microphone. Hopefully the microphone is cutting some of that external noise like that out a little bit. So one of my fears with this microphone is when you have, some external noise you want to have, right? Like if a bald eagle's flying over and they're talking to us, you know, we want that on video. But things like wind noise, airplanes, loud boats, especially the dang wakeboarders when they're blaring their music out at the highest decibel level possible. Stuff like that I'd like to eliminate. I probably should switch out that bait on the one that we've cast out behind us, but honestly, it ain't been messed with. So, I really don't even need it out there, really. We're getting plenty of action here to keep me happy on the front 2 rods, so. Just ain't even gonna fool with it. We'll leave it out there. If it gets hit, it gets hit. If not, we'll keep reeling them in on these 2. Right on cue. That one was getting hit. Guess he didn't want the whole bait. He just thought he'd take a bite of it. But anyway, Reelfoot Lake, very, and I've only seen it in pictures, and videos, but it looks amazing. There's all this standing timber everywhere. It's a real shallow lake, allegedly created by a earthquake that caused the Mississippi River to flow backwards and fill up this lake. And it's got good bluegill, crappie, all that in there. So Ryan had mentioned wanting to go, and I have wanted to go forever. And it's in Tennessee, but Tennessee's a long state. So I think it's around 6 hours away. It's a little bit of a journey to get there. But I'm going to try to make it out there at some point soon. And Ryan and I had talked after our Chickamauga tournament about possibly going here in a couple weeks. So there is another catfish tournament in Owensboro, Kentucky on the Ohio River. And I can't remember the exact date. I think it's like first weekend of May or something like that. And him and I had both planned on going to that tournament because I'd planned on fishing the entire tournament trail, the national trail this year. But from what we've heard, the Ohio River is apparently, it's full, it's flooded. It's like 50 feet above normal pool or something like that, and the current flow is really high right now. So there was talk from our tournament director that it may end up possibly getting canceled if the flow doesn't subside a little. And Ryan and I were like, well, you know what? We had both planned on going to that tournament, so if that don't pan out, probably be a good time to head on over to Reelfoot. And so we may end up doing that. Be a way to kind of split expenses, you know, with the lodging costs while we're there. I don't want to go over there for a long time, but I wouldn't mind spending a couple days on Reelfoot and just kind of probing around and see what we can get. Just from a scenery standpoint, I'd like to go do it. And it may be an opportunity too for me to use, of course I don't know what kayak I would take. So we got one on the head here. Is he hooked up? I think he's got it. I think he's got it, folks. The head of the fly one, he's got it. It's about time to catch another one on the fly. That's what I'm thinking. It's what it really is, the time for us to catch a flathead. Yesterday, I just knew I was going to bust a flathead in that other creek. And I thought we had a chance of getting one out here today, but I ain't seen hide nor hair of a flathead. I ain't even caught but a handful all year so far. This has been the slowest year I've had in recent memory for flatheads. Yeah, this one, he is on the fly. Boy, I conjured that one up, didn't I? He's knocked her head off too. Old blue kitty on the fly. Old fly fish. And Catfish Sumo bait stalker flies, man, they get you some extra bites, some extra fish. I always forget to mention on these videos, but code word kayak get you 10% off your orders. I need to plug that more. I never think about it. Catfish Sumo has been good to me. Though I know that the owner there, Daniel, has been a friend of mine for a long time and been real good to me. They make my rods for me here, the Golly Whopper rods. My signature rod, which are perfect for what I do. Let's get us another. Let's put this big skipjack on here. Cut the head of this in here. But these rods, you know, you get a kayak like this, got them short handles, which are great for setting down fighting fish. But like this kayak, if I had the longer handles, I'd have trouble putting them in rod holders up there because they'd be encroaching on each other. But if I'm in a situation where maybe I want to go and pull up on the bank and fish, all I got to do is just plug in my extension handle. So they're really the perfect rod for what I do. And this style of fishing here, especially the suspend fishing, you know, they got the backbone to handle big fish, but at the same time, they're light enough action to enjoy a 5-pound fish and still feel like you're not reeling it in on a broomstick. And these rods too, another thing that I really wanted in them, and I ain't trying to sell you no rods here, folks. I gotta talk about something while we're out here. But these rods have a little bit stiffer tip on them, which is helpful when you're using circle hooks and you're suspending baits in a kayak, because you need that fish to load up the rod to be able to penetrate that hook. And that can be difficult to do if you've got a limber rod or a soft tip rod. That can be tough to do, and especially so when you're fishing in a kayak, because the fish is going to pull the kayak over as well. So, and when you lean over to get the rod, you're taking some pressure off, so you're losing leverage on that fish. And so you need a little bit stiffer tip to do this style of fishing effectively, and these rods have it. So anyway, I'm done trying to sell you a rod. I'm just saying, I love them. Catfish Sumo's been good to me. I need to push Catfish Sumo a little more to try to help them out for helping me out. And if you are going to buy something, whether it's flies or rods or sinkers or hooks or, you know, whatever it is that you want to buy from, code word kayak, save you 10%. And put a little jingle in my pocket too. Anyway, Reelfoot Lake on the to-do list, hopefully happen. If not, in a couple weeks, soon. And if the Owensboro, Kentucky tournament does happen, well, I'll be up there. I don't know how early I'll go up there to pre-fish. I've never fished there before. I mean, I fished the Ohio River last year in the Rising Sun Indiana tournament, but I haven't fished the section there at Owensboro. What I've heard, just people talking about it, it's not going to be a very, not going to be a lot of big fish caught there, if any. So again, it's one of them places, like, I want to go fish it just to fish the tournaments and fish somewhere different, kind of test my skills on a different body of water. But at the same time, I'm not too excited about going somewhere that's doesn't really give me a high likelihood of catching a big fish. Like, one of the tournaments on our schedule is Louisiana later in the year, and I think it's September, maybe September or October. We go down to Louisiana. There's some big fish down there, and that's one you got circled there. Like, well, I'm looking forward to that. But Owensboro, Kentucky, yeah. Sandusky Bay, yeah. I'll go, but, you know, hopefully do well. Hopefully do well enough in the tournament to justify going. So far, I've started out the year, first two tournaments, cashed in both. I won the first one there in Alabama. Got a nice check, and then second place in past weekend here in Chickamauga, so that was a nice check. My tournament winnings have paid my tournament expenses for the rest of the year, basically, at this point. I'm kind of on house money at this point. But I take that money from the tournaments. I take my bicycle money, too, put that toward my travel expenses. And my channel members, I got channel members. I do channel memberships on here, and the people send money through that. I take that money and put toward my travel and trips too, so it's a big help. Thanks to all my channel members, by the way. And a lot of you watch these type videos. I hope my channel members like these style videos, because that's mostly what I make anymore. I'm at a point now, and especially once I get this new computer, assuming it arrives today, where I can do these larger file for unedited videos quicker. I just mainly want to do these unedited videos now. Like, I'm enjoying these so much more. I mean, the fishing's the same regardless, but for the edited videos, it's just so much hassle for me to sit behind the computer and edit, and then I got to watch them back afterwards, and I hate watching myself. I hate listening to myself. You know, it's kind of torture to sit there and do that. Where these unedited videos, I'll come out here and can talk and elaborate on things I want to go in depth about, and then when I get home, just post them. You know, I don't have to sit there and watch them back because they're unedited. So it saves me time. I enjoy it more. Apparently y'all enjoy it more too, because these are getting way more views than my edited videos. So hopefully my channel members, though, a lot of them have been with me from a long time ago, back when I was only doing edited videos. So hopefully they enjoy it. I do get a fair amount of complaints, though, of these videos being too long. I always tell people, like, look, I got shorter videos on my highlights channel, Kayak Catfish Highlights. It's my second channel. I was taking longer videos and shrinking them down to 15 minutes or less. Most of them are 8 to 10 minute range on there. So, like, if you only got time for a 10-minute video, just go to that channel. I don't know why they feel the need to complain on this. You know, that's the funny thing about it. The people who like my long videos and the people who like my live streams, they never get on a normal length edited video and go down the comment box and complain about the video being too short or not being a live stream. Those people never complain. But the people who like my edited videos, they don't hesitate at all to hop on a live stream comment box or an unedited video comment box and gripe and complain about me posting longer videos. You know, it's a different group of people. Like, and I'm a spiteful person. You know, I'm like, you want to complain? I'll give you something to complain about. But I enjoy doing these. I've had more fun these past few months where I've kind of leaned into the unedited versions of these videos. I've had more fun doing this than what I've had in a long time doing YouTube videos. So I'm gonna keep it going. So y'all keep watching, I keep doing it. We may eventually run out of fish to catch or things to talk about, but as long as I'm having fun and you're enjoying it, we'll keep doing it. I'm gonna try to do a unedited carp video soon. I went out carp fishing last weekend, and you've probably seen the carp video get posted before this video, like in between my catfish trip yesterday and today. Since I did an unedited video yesterday, probably won't post them back to back. So I'll probably post the carp video in between, but I filmed it a few days ago over the weekend. And finally got on some carp, man. I have struggled so much this year. First 3 trips, I had a total of 1 carp. I just couldn't get it going, but I hit a creek, and they were in there thick, man. And I was just one after another after another. It was great. And so that video you've probably seen. I went ahead and done an edited video that day because I needed to throw one of Daphne's bikes on that video. But I'm going to do an unedited video carp fishing soon. And see, and that may go over like a fart in church. You know, I don't know. I thought that the catfish videos may go over poorly too, but I mean, clearly these have been very popular just based on the view counts and stuff and the feedback I've gotten. So we'll try it on the carp too. I was concerned initially, when I do the unedited ultralight videos, there's a lot of action because you're getting bit every few casts. And you're actively moving along too. You're making casts. And so I thought, at least if nothing else, even if I'm in a slow stretch, the scenery's changing. I'm doing something. I'm casting. With the catfish videos, like today, I'm out here I'm sitting on the same spot until I leave today. I'm not moving. And I was like, man, if I get in a situation where I'm not catching fish, or maybe I am catching fish, but the scenery's not changing. I didn't know if people's going to watch or not, but clearly y'all have. And there's been, don't get me wrong, there's been some days where I went through a dry spell. Before last week, when I was coming down here pre-fishing, I was fishing at home there, Fort Loudon and Watts Bar. I was on a bad dry spell, man. I was, out of 12 catfish sessions, there was 2 videos gotten. I mean, I was in a slump, buddy. And so there was a lot of days I'd start out with the intention of doing an unedited video, and I'd sit there and talk for, so we got another bite here. I'd sit there and talk for 30, 45 minutes and not get a bite. Is he gonna take off with it? Get on with it, fish. Pull that rod down hard. I wanna make sure you hooked. I think he's come off. Yeah, he just hit that bait and toyed with us. Now he's over here. He's over here now. Let's lower this one back down right quick. He's on. He's got the head this time. I wanna get this one lowered back down before we pick up. I think he made us come off. Nope. Old fish, he couldn't decide which one he wanted. No, he did come off. You old fish. Well, the bait still looks good. Back down it goes. Danged old fish. I don't even remember what I was talking about now. Something about unedited videos, I think. That fish broke my train of thought. Toying with me like that. I completely lost whatever I was about to say. I need to eat me some more blueberries, I guess. I had a handful before I left the house today. They're supposed to make you mentally sharper. I heard that on the internet somewhere, and I'd picked me up some blueberries at the Aldi last time I was there. And the last 2 times I've been there, I've got some blueberries actually. So I've been eating a handful of them in the mornings. I don't know if it's making me smarter or not, but I do like some blueberries, so. For the life of me, I can't remember what I was saying. It's gone. Something about unedited videos and the carp. I don't know where I was going with it. But anyway, as far as the carp goes, finally had me a good day. And we're going to try out an unedited video at some point on that. You know, we're getting into spring now, so the bite should get better for the carp. You know, they bite all winter long. Every winter, the last couple years, I have said I'm going to get out there and put some time into learning how to catch them in the winter. And I don't end up doing that. I just don't do it. And these Europeans and stuff, they'll get on my channel and tell me the places I should be fishing, you know, out in the main channel and blah, 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 blah. And I'd catch bigger carp and, you know, when I go carp fishing, one of the things that I enjoy about it, not just aside from the pull of the carp because they do fight so incredibly well, but one of the things I enjoy about carp fishing is the fact that I'm able to go way back up in these backwater creek areas that just don't see a lot of boat traffic. And I can go hide from people, especially like on a weekend. Like if you got out on a weekend here, East Tennessee, spring, summer, early fall, there's a bass tournament at every boat ramp. That was a better thump. Must have just hit it though. Yeah. Another little tease. One of them's gonna hook up in a minute. But you go out there, it's a bass tournament all the time, pleasure boat traffic, houseboaters, jet skiers, wakeboarders. I can go hide in them creeks, not see a soul, and be back there and catch a lot of fish. And, you know, sure, there may not be the trophy specimen carp back there all the time. Boy, you can catch a lot of carp in the 5 to 10 pound range, and they're a dang good time. And so I'll just go back there and have fun and do my thing, and I enjoy it, but I enjoy it more when I'm catching them. And I've had a hard time with that lately, but finally, I even spent a day down here in Chickamauga. I'd come down that day I fished with Ryan out here catfishing. I fished the morning with him, and I had seen some carp the day before where I had pre-fished at. They were up on the grassy area on the bank. Looked like they were spawning. I thought, I'm gonna go back there the next day and tear them up. So I left Ryan, went and carp fished the rest of the afternoon. Caught one carp. All them fish I'd seen up there beating the banks, acting like they were spawning, never saw the first one. Wasn't no spawning activity at all going on the next day. But it should be about time for the spawn to be happening at home. Water temperatures, it's 68 degrees surface temps here right now. But it's a little cooler than that back home still, so. And our water level ain't as high at home as it is here either. Has he got it now? He's got it now, folks. It ain't a hard takedown, but he's on that head. Or the fly one. I ain't going to judge this fish based on the fight, because every time I've done that, I think, well, he ain't going to be very big, and we pull him up, and he's a lot bigger than I thought. Listen here, though, I'm pulling him up slow. He ain't fighting. He's wore out too. He's partied with the rest of them. Or he's lassoed. He's lassoed. Yeah, when he comes undone here, right there, he's unlassoed now. He's gonna act out. Don't you dare throw that head off, fish. Don't you dare do it. That hook's hanging out the bottom lip of that skipjack. You know what? Come on in here before you throw that head off. That's a big head. I don't want to waste it on you, fish. Yeah, I'm talking about you trying to waste that head. You're trying to knock it off so your friends can get down there and get it. You like them punk kids, one provides the distraction and the other kids run in and steals everything. That's how them kids are today, buddy. Got no morals. Let's rehook this thing before we send it back down. There we go. Back down it goes. Where it stops, only the fish knows. You can't beat this though, folks. Now, like I mentioned earlier, is this the most effective technique to be doing right now for either numbers or size of fish? Maybe, maybe not. But from a fun perspective, you can't beat it. This is the most fun you can have catfishing out of a kayak. This setup right here. A kayak that's actually the size of a kayak, not these barges like my Hobie kayak and some of the others. You get a fun platform on a short line, fishing vertically under you. If you ain't tried it, folks, give it a shot one time. Rent you a kayak for a day somewhere. Go out and try it out, man. You'll fall in love with it. Sure is a lot more enjoyable though now that it's warming up a little bit. It's still cool out here right now, but it's you know, the time of year and all, other than the pollen and the allergies, I need to wash this kayak. Can't wash it. It's too dirty to be washed. You got to wash. Y'all know the difference between washing and washing? Washing, I'm going to educate some of you. Washing is when something, basically you wet or rinse something off that don't really need to be cleaned. For instance, let's say you walk into a public bathroom that don't have any doors, like you don't have to touch anything except yourself. We got self-flushing toilets and all that, automatic toilets. So you walk in, you touch yourself, the urinal flushes, you've not touched the door handle, but there's other people in there. So peer pressure, you gotta wash your hands, right? Even though you've only touched yourself. Your hands aren't really dirty, but peer pressure says you gotta wash your hands. So you basically rinse your hands off. You do like a, one pump of the soap dispenser, a little wash, and you're out there so you can not look like a heathen that's goes to the bathroom and don't wash your hands. Another example would probably be like, say my girlfriend's on my ass because she's like, you need to do laundry. You've wore that same pair of blue jeans for the last 2 weeks. I'm like, hell, woman, I ain't even got them dirty yet. But you go ahead and you wash your clothes because you've wore the same pair of blue jeans for 2 weeks and the girlfriend's upset about it. You appease her by washing your clothes. But if something actually needs to be cleaned, like my kayak here, it's got mud and doo-doo all over the floor, catfish slime, pollens all over it. Like this thing needs to be scrubbed. I'm gonna have to wash it. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna have to put some elbow grease into it and scrub it. So it's gotta be washed. So that's the difference between washing and washing. They're interchangeable terms, but they mean different things. Some of you people up north, maybe out west, maybe you're in a foreign country watching this video, you don't know what the difference is. So that now you do. In the South, you wash your hands in a public bathroom and you wash your kayaks. That's a little educational breakdown for you right there. I don't even know if wash is in the dictionary or not. It should be. Wash rags. But this kayak, it's too dirty. It can't be washed. It's got to be washed. And I need to do it soon too. Because I still don't know yesterday. I can't tell if that's mud or if that other fish had doo-dooed all over everything. This kayak stinks. But I don't know what's causing it. I had a bass fisherman. I was in my other kayak. And my other kayak, I got my Yeti cooler in it most of the time. And this kayak here, right now I've just got this little igloo cooler in it. And just because my other kayak, I've got it strapped down. My Yeti, I've strapped it down to my Hobie. So unless I know I'm going to be fishing out of this kayak for a few days in a row, I usually just leave it in the Hobie because I don't want to undo all the straps. But anyway, the Yeti's got a drain plug. And so I put my ice in there, and then I put some bait, and then I put more ice. And as that ice melts, it washes the slime and the blood from the bait down that drain, and it kind of pools in my kayak there. And my Hobie kayak almost always stinks. Like it's always got a dead fish odor to it. And I guess over time, I've just gotten nose blind. Like it don't bother me anymore. It's not like where you forget and leave a piece of cut bait in your cooler for days with no ice in it type situation. It's just a constant stench, but not like rancid. But we got one on the fly right here. We got a small fish on the fly. He better not knock that head off. Y'all don't forget, to remind me where I'm at in the story about the Hobie stinking. The last fish interrupted my train of thought. I never got back on track. My blueberries done ran out. Yep, on the fly. Another fly fish. We may end up today, y'all, even though it started slow. We may end up today ending up with more numbers of fish than I got yesterday. Still haven't got a fish as big as my biggest yesterday, but the overall quality has been significantly better today. See you, fish. Arrivederci. Well, I don't even know how this happened. He got my sinker around my line there. Okay, there we go. There we go. Looked worse than it was. Get that slime off there too. I don't think the fish care, but it annoys me. There we go. All right, let's send that head back down one more time. We'll give it a little while longer and we'll switch it out. We'll put on a new head and a fresh chunk. That rod behind us though, it ain't had a sniff at the bait yet. Here at the mouth, we've done good. I must have it just cast the wrong way. But you know, the wind keeps spinning us around every which way. We don't need that back rod anyhow. I'm gonna leave it out, but we don't need it. But anyway, the story. So again, my kayak stinks. My Hobie, it's just, from where that cooler drains out, the juices and the slime and the blood, and it pools in the back of the Hobie and then dries there. It's molded. There's algae growing on it. I mean, it stinks. But I'm kind of nose blind to it at this point. I can sit out there, it don't really bother me much. But I was loading up my kayak and there was a bass fisherman there, kayak bass fisherman. And he come over to talk to me. And he was standing there at my kayak and he was like, man, what is that smell? Like, it stinks. I'm like, that's my cooler, man. That's the smell of success, buddy. That's how you know you've been catching some fish. He's like, I don't know how you can stand this. It's awful. I think he was kind of judging me. His kayak, of course, you know, it's spotless. It's just pristine condition and all. Of course, the bass fishermen, they never catch nothing anyway. But yeah, he was just amazed that I would be able to sit out there in that kayak as bad as it stunk. It don't bother me at all. It's like that in people's houses too. You know, you go in and everybody's house has got a smell to it. Not necessarily a bad smell, but it's got a smell. And the people that live there, you don't notice it because you're in it all the time. But if somebody else walks in, you notice it. That's something else I gotta do, y'all. I need to clean house. I got a whole list of stuff I gotta do. I gave my house a good deep clean about a month ago. I mean, I cleaned everything about a month ago, man. I pulled out the bed, vacuumed under there. I vacuumed the walls, what do you call them, door jambs or you know what I'm talking about, door frames. I got the dust off of it. I pulled the fridge out and the stove. I had a whole nother cat behind the stove. You know, my cat, Adrian, she died last year. She's 16, and it had been several years since I had pulled out my stove and fridge. And so I found all her cat toys up under the stove, and there was so much hair. Like, I mean, I could have put all that hair together and made me a new cat. It was just My cat may be dead, but she's left her DNA in there. It's a wonder I didn't burn the house down or something, because all that fridge on the back of it's got like a little vent. And it was, I mean, it was an inch thick there with just cat hair. But I got back there and cleaned all that out. I cleaned my windows inside and out. Like, I gave the house a good deep clean. But it's at a point now I need to clean it again. Get up Daphne's dog hair everywhere. She sheds quite a bit, but not like a cat. You know, I had that cat, my cat, I had her 16 years. And she just got old, you know. She died, and I miss her specifically, but I don't miss having a cat. You know what I mean? Like, just the hair, the puking, the litter box, tearing up the furniture. You know, there's a lot that goes to having a cat. They're clean animals, but they cause a mess. Especially if you got one like I had that just pukes all the time. Got another action on his head bait. You think he's got the head, or has he got the fly, or he don't know what he's got? He ain't got nothing now, he let it go. Give that a few more minutes, and we're going to put on a fresh piece. That chunk over there ain't been hit in a while either. You know what, let's go ahead and just cut it now. Because we may not even have a bait over there on that chunk. We may have got ripped off and don't even know it. No more longer than I'm gonna fish. Where are we at on time here? I'm gonna fish maybe another hour here. Oh, you know what? I got one skip, I got 2 whole skips and some, we're about to get through this bait. I got 2 whole skips left that we ain't cut. One in this bag and one in the other. And then I got some midsections and tails left of the other ones, some of the others that we've cut. So we're about to burn through our bait here, y'all. Mission accomplished today. Let's just go ahead and put a new head and a new chunk on. Spruce everything up. If y'all ain't gonna help me reel in these fish, y'all could be over there spraying my weeds for me right now. If you can find a sprayer wand. I can't believe neither Tractor Supply or Home Depot had a dang sprayer wand. It just wasn't meant to be for me to kill them weeds yesterday. It was just a day, man. I don't know. I hope y'all have days like that too. I mean, I ain't wishing nothing bad on you, but I hate to think it's just me. Sometimes it feels like it's just me, though. Today's been significantly better, though. We've hooked up on most of the fish that we've had bite. We ain't straightened no hooks. We ain't had to retie nothing. We ain't got no fish caught in the anchor rope. Ain't been pulled off anchor. I made it all the way through Lenoir City this morning without hitting a red light. Things are better today, y'all. Today's my day. Just gotta take the good with the bad. That's part of life. It's frustrating in the moment, though. Especially with that bike last night. Man, I was saying some... I'd already said a bunch of cuss words over the sprayer. Boy, I really let them fly over that tricycle, though. I don't know how we're going to race Daphne on that thing. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm going to tell that company, though, like, look, you told me 65% assembled. You've lied to me. I want to know how they do math over there in China, because I thought China was better at math than America was. That's what they tell us on the news, that America's falling behind on education, on science and math and all that stuff. But I got enough math skills to know what 65% is and what it ain't. And that back was not 65% assembled, that's for dang sure. Clean our cutting board there. I'm gonna leave these chunks in the kayak for now. If we were getting chewed up with small fish, I'd drop them down, cut them up and drop them down, try to appease the hungry children. But we're really kind of being just left alone for the most part. We're not getting dinked to death here. So our baits have been in pretty good condition when the larger fish have come through. And that's what I want. I want baits to be in good, pristine condition when the big fish come along. Sometimes if you're getting, got a boat coming. If you're just sitting down there getting ding tapped, your baits will be chewed up, and then Big Mama comes along and you just got a bled out, chewed up piece of bait that ain't even gonna be appealing to them. That's one thing too about suspending like this, is when your baits are getting pecked and chewed on, you know about it. Or sometimes if you got lines cast out, or if you're dragging, you got lines running way far away from you and you're not paying attention to the rods, you may be getting tapped and chewed on and you just don't know it. And then you go to reel in later on and you're like, well, hell, I didn't have no bait on the hook, or my bait's been all chewed up. You didn't even know about it. I'm having fun today though, y'all. I hope y'all are too. It's been a good day. The fishing today has been, I mean, we've had some good quality. We've had some numbers of fish. It wouldn't have hurt my feelings if they'd fought a little harder, but still, there's some good fishing in this area here right now. I don't know as far as like year round. There's never a bad time to fish a creek mouth, ever. In my opinion, it's 7 day a week, 365 type spots. But some creeks and some sections of the river are going to do better than others at certain times of the year. And having not been down here before this past week, I don't know how this section performs at various times of the year, but I know it's been on right now. You know, I got a bunch of fish up there at that old dam. Nothing really of good quality, but I got a bunch of fish. Ryan had got a bunch of fish dragging up this side of the ledge. Nothing good quality, but he got a bunch. And then he had fished, when I left him that day to go fish for carp, he went over here in that other creek that I fished at yesterday, the mouth of. He had went back in there dragging and caught some big fish. And of course, I fished over there at the mouth of it yesterday and got that one big one and several fish. And then over here today, we've got several fish. So there's clearly a lot of fish in this section of the river right now. Now, how that translates out summer, fall, winter, I don't know, but right now I'm pretty confident that if we go hit this creek downriver from here, I'm gonna catch some there too. I hope I do anyway, because I'm probably gonna come back and do it. Already got that new head on, we already got something messing with it. He just eating the gills out of it. There's something about them gills. You know, when you see your, I don't know if any of these heads have been chewed up enough to see, but oftentimes your head baits are down there and you'll pull them up after they've been nipped. and they'll eat the gills of them out. That one's, they're toying with me again. Oh, he's back over here now. Okay, this one, he wants this one now. He couldn't make up his mind. He hit the head, and then he went and hit the chunk, now he's back on the head. But they like them gills for some reason. Okay, now we're doubled. We're doubled. Guess it was two different fish. Got more working through right here. We'll get this one up the surface and then we'll pick up on the other one over there since y'all ain't gonna help me out and reel one in for me. Y'all fishing partners something else, man. I can't get you some net fish, bait hooks. Well, we've literally got 2 fish on right now and I can't get you to pick up a dang rod. That could be our flathead over there for all we know. I still want to get me a flathead, man. We got to get on a flathead at some point. Oh, this one ate the fly too. You know what? You know what I want to do? I want to land this fish before he throws that head off, waiting on me to land him. Let's just go ahead and get him gone, and then we'll drop this bait back down, get it down there, and then land the other one. Flies are producing here, buddy. We got several yesterday. Now we've got several fish today on the fly. That's all the camera time you're getting right there, fish. That's it, buddy. He's a larger dink. Let's drop it back down. Make sure it's hooked good first. Yeah, good enough. Let's send it back down and we'll reel in our other one. He's still on over there. Could be some more fish. Well, look at him now, buddy. He's mad at me. He's tired of waiting, he said. He said he's getting the hell out of here. He said if I ain't gonna pick up that rod, he's just gonna take the rod and everything. All right, fish, it's your turn. Not very patient today. These fish got no patience. You're on their schedule. We gotta wait all day on them to bite sometimes, and then when they do bite, they want you picking up on that rod right now. Let's see what this one ate. I think this one's got the cut bait. Yeah, he ate the cut bait. He actually, no. The bait's gone. Look at this. He's got this fish, man. He's got himself hooked. He's like one of them little girls you see at the mall when you go to the Apple store. He's got a piercing right above his eye and the eyebrow area there. All you need now is a nose ring fish. You need one of them hog ring nose piercings. Lord, I can't get the dang hook. I'm gonna have to end up bringing him in to get the hook out here. You done it good, fish. It's a wonder you didn't poke your eye out. There you go. There you go, fish. I hear you. Lord, now you got your belly button piercing too. There we go. Get on out of here. Go think about what you've done. Get you a job at the Apple store. You'll fit right in with your piercings everywhere. Oh, how that ever come about. You know, earrings have been around forever, but who was it that come up with the idea? It's like, you know, I think I'm gonna jab a hole through my nose and put a hog ring through there, whatever they're called. Or who says, you know what, I'm gonna poke a hole through my eyebrow and put a ring through there. Like, I don't know who comes up with this stuff. Some of them are, well, they pierce the private parts too. But they're doing like their chest and stuff now. Belly buttons they've done forever. Like, they'll put an earring about anywhere. if I get pierced, it's accidental. One of these fish has put a hook in me. That's the only way I'm getting pierced. I just ain't gonna do it, man. I ain't getting no piercings. I ain't got no tattoos. I can't imagine, you know, like, what do I want to be stamped with the rest of my life for a tattoo? Like there was a person a couple years ago, and I don't know if it was a real tattoo or like one of them fake ones, but they had my Kayak Catfish logo tattooed on them. Like, that's serious, man. Like, I'm running this channel, and you don't see me putting a Kayak Catfish tattoo on me. I ain't into it. And my mom's got some tattoos, but my girlfriend, she's got a bunch of tattoos. Not me. I just ain't gonna do it. Them tattoos too, but I mean, to my knowledge, they used to be pretty expensive. When I was a kid, my mom she got one of them, like ankle bracelet tattoos, like it's around her ankle, and it's got like, I mean, it's made to look like an ankle bracelet with charms and stuff, but it's got like, it's tattooed on, obviously. And she had it down there done at the flea market in Harriman or Rockwood, wherever that old indoor flea market used to be when we'd go to it when I was a kid. I don't know if it's still there or not. But a guy had a trailer outside the flea market there, and a tattoo thing set up inside the trailer. I'm like, my mom's lost her damn mind going to get a tattoo at a flea market in a trailer outside of flea market. I'm like, you've lost your damn mind, but she done it. I guess it's safer to go to a flea market than to get one in prison. Get them prison tattoos. We've got another fish right here. Yeah, I think he let it go. I hope he let it go. He wasn't big enough to be fooling with. We'll get these smaller ones working through here. We may cut up some of them scraps and feed the hungry children down there. Just make sure he's gone. No, I think he may still be on there, folks. Nope, he's gone now. Let's make sure our bait ain't messed up. Well, looks good. He knocked the gut pocket out. He done got our gut pocket. He can have it, I guess. Them gut pockets usually fall out anyway. Fall out or get knocked out on the fresh skipjack. I don't use frozen skipjack much anymore. Right now, I don't even have any frozen skipjack in my freezer. I've got some suckers that are frozen in my freezer. But I used to freeze skipjack a lot. I'd catch a bunch in the spring, fill up the freezer, and just use them all summer long. But that was back when I didn't get to fish as much. I was working all the time, and so I didn't have a great deal of time to go out and catch bait. And so I would get them when they're running in the spring and put them back for when I was able to catfish. But now, with me doing YouTube full time and being able to fish a lot more, I can pretty much stay on bait. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's days where I struggle to catch them. And I'll go through periods of time where I can't find any. But for the most part, I can keep myself on fresh bait consistently. And so since I've been doing YouTube, I just don't use frozen bait very often. I'd rather use fresh. Now, if there's one advantage, and I wouldn't even say it's an advantage, really, but when you do use frozen bait, as they thaw, the blood and oils from the gut pocket are going to slowly disperse. You don't lose the gut pocket instantly like you do on fresh skipjack. So I guess if there was an advantage at all, it's that, but I would much rather have fresh bait. The fresher, the better. And like if I'm taking a trip down here, for instance, where I got to drive this far, I don't want my bait being, these baits today are 2 days old. I got them, I'm filming this on Tuesday, I got these baits Sunday evening. And whatever, if we got anything left when I leave here, I'm gonna toss them. Because if I'm going on a road trip, I want it super fresh. If I'm fishing at home, I got bait that's 3 days old, that's fine. If it's skipjack. I don't want shad more than about 48 hours old, because they get a little bit mushy. Bluegill needs to be super fresh. Crappie needs to be fresh. White bass, it'll keep 2 or 3 days. Skipjack's the only bait I like to use frozen, though. I got those suckers hoping they would perform, because I like fresh suckers. Fresh suckers are great bait, live or cut. But the frozen suckers, I've caught some fish on. I got some on tournament day there, but I haven't had the success with the frozen sucker like I have with fresh sucker. With skipjack, you can go out and have a reasonable expectation to catch some big fish on frozen skipjack. I've caught a bunch of big fish on frozen skipjack through the years, but I still prefer fresh. But I'm gonna go. We'll finish up fishing here today. I'll try to get my chores done this evening. And then tomorrow, I need to get some bait tomorrow. If the wind isn't bad in the morning, I may do some ultralight fishing and then try to get some bait in the afternoon. If the wind is up. Or here's another thing I need to do too. And I'm gonna have a hard time describing this because I don't know how many of you have seen it because it's fairly new. So my buddy Clint, he's let me, and it's danger. I told him at the time, I was like, Clint, you shouldn't let me borrow this thing. I'm gonna lose it. But he's like, no, I got extra, go ahead and take it. But he's let me borrow a new lure. And this lure is like an Alabama rig for bass, but it's not made with wire. Most of these Alabama rigs for bass, they have like spinnerbait wire, and then they'll have the little teasers on there, like spinnerbait blades, and then you'll be able to connect your jigs or swim baits or whatever lure you're using. And this one that Clint gave me, or let me borrow, it's a new one that a guy he knows is making. And it's not made with wire. It's made with heavy-duty fluorocarbon line. And apparently it pulls through the water different, it swims different, and fish are tearing it up, according to Clint. So he's let me, they're $50 a piece, and the guy's so backlogged, the guy that's making them, he's so backlogged with people ordering them, he can't keep caught up, so Clint had 3 of them. He's let me borrow one. And I need to get out there and play with it some. So I may make a trip down to Watts Bar Dam tomorrow, go throw that thing around and just get some bait, because the skipjack, they're real thick at Watts Bar Dam too. That's where all the guys that come down here for the tournament, that's where they were getting their bait at. I could go out there, maybe throw that thing for a little while, play with it, see if I could get some. Clint's been catching everything on. Like, he's been attaching these little swim bait lures to it. He's been getting a bunch of drum, bass, white bass, skipjack, like everything's been hitting them. So I could play with that a little while, get some skipjack while I'm there. That might be interesting. So I need to try that thing out and play with it a little bit, hopefully not lose it. I told him I'm paying for it if I lose it. I always feel bad about borrowing stuff. Like if I'm like today or tomorrow, whenever I'm able to rent that brush cutter, if I tear it up, I don't really care because I've rented it, you know, I've paid a fee to use it. But if I'm borrowing something from a friend, I hate to do it because I'm fearful I'm going to mess it up or lose it. But Clint, he's a nice guy, and he was adamant that I need to take it and try it out, so I'm going to do it. Clint's a good fella. He always gives me, if he finds bait somewhere, he'll always tell me where he's getting them at and stuff. He's given me bait before. If he gets on a hot catfish bite, he'll tell me, you know, what they're hitting, what depth, what structure, all that. Like he's a good dude. You don't find many people like him in the world. I'm gonna try out that lure at some point. If the wind ain't bad tomorrow, I'd really like to go ultralight fishing. I've been catfishing so much with the tournament and everything that we had, and of course now we're on this hot bite. I need to get an ultralight session in. And I'll tell you what I want to do too, and I mentioned this yesterday. Right up from here on the right, there's a bluff wall, real rocky and everything. And I want to get down here at some point. Man, this is a long drive for an ultralight trip, but I want to throw my gulp and jig and gulp on that bluff wall up there. I brought my ultralight rod with me today. I brought it yesterday and I brought it today. If the cats weren't biting and the wind laid down, I was going to go up there with the ultralight rod. But yesterday the cats were biting and the wind was high, and obviously today we've been on some bites. And even if I left a little early to run up there and throw the ultralight, the wind is up just enough now that it's not bad today, but it's more of a nuisance than what I want to fool with ultralight fishing. I like ultralight fishing more on just calm days where you can cast where you want and let the jig sink and feel your bites and stuff. Of course, up there it's so deep on that bluff wall, it could probably get by with a little bit heavier jig head and let it sink down. I bet you there's some smallmouth on them rocks. But at some point in time, I'm gonna make a hour and 30 minute drive down here with an ultralight rod just specifically to fish that bluff wall. I'll probably start up there, work that wall down, come over here at these docks and stuff. We'll make a day out of that and catch us a bunch of fish. Maybe get some smallmouth in there. We're at that time of year now with the water temperatures heating up. There's a lot more fish in the shallows. And that's when ultralight fishing gets so much more fun because you're going to catch a lot more fish. They're aggressive. You know, it's a good time of year. If it could just stay spring or stay fall year round, if we could eliminate the cold winter months, and I don't necessarily want to say I want to eliminate summer. I like summer, but maybe not so dang hot. You know what I mean? Like in the summer, I'll get out there and fish from dawn till 10 or 11 and just go home when it's miserably hot. But at least in the spring and fall, you can come out and fish, comfortable temperature, and then go home and work in your yard and do chores and stuff outside and not be miserable hot or miserable cold. So if it could just stay spring and fall year round, we'd be set. I guess that's why all them rich people travel. They go to Florida for winter and then go back to Yankeeville for the spring and summer. I do like me some Florida too, though. I'm gonna try to get back down there this winter and do some more fishing in the Keys, maybe hit Lake Ida again for the peacock bass. I want to try to focus more on the clown knife fish when I go to Lake Ida next time. I want to try to, I've caught some clown knife fish, but I'm not catching them consistently. I want to try to figure that out a little more. I want to do that. And I think too, when we have that tournament down in Louisiana this fall, catfish tournament, I think I'm probably going to take my shark gear and maybe while I'm down there, because it's going to be a fairly quick run to get to some shark-infested waters, I would imagine. Go try to bust a shark. The big thing down there for that Louisiana tournament is, what I've been told, there's very limited access. There's like 3 ramps in a big, long stretch of the river there. And so if I have to make a long run, I'm definitely going to need my other kayak with the motor. But if I'm going to go out in the ocean and chase some sharks, I would much prefer to be in this kayak. And I can't carry them both with me. So I'm going to have to make a decision. I'm going to have to compromise. I'm either going to have to limit where I go in the ocean with my other kayak. Definitely ain't going to be going offshore in my other kayak with the motor and all. Or take this kayak with me and limit my range for the catfish tournament. We'll see. You know, that's tournaments toward the end of the season. And right now, we're in a heated Angler of the Year race between me and Ryan. Angler of the Year is determined by our 5 best tournaments, and we get points. Like first place gets 100 points, second place 99, so forth and so on, all the way down. And then whoever gets the big fish of the tournament gets 2 extra bonus points. So I had first place in big fish in the Alabama tournament, so I got 102 points. Ryan got third place in that tournament. So he got, 98 points. Chickamauga tournament, Ryan had first place in big fish, and I got second. So he got 102, and then I got 99. So right now, after 2 tournaments, I've got 201 points. He's got 200. In third place, I think, is Aaron Grubb right now. I think he's got 191, I think. So there's a pretty big difference in points between me and Ryan and third place. Now, obviously, that'll change as we get more tournaments. Somebody else will win and whatnot. But if we get to the Louisiana tournament and it's still real close between me and Ryan, I may just have to go ahead and take my other kayak just to make sure that I can get where I need to go. But if I'm either blown out and not going to win Angler of the Year, or if maybe I've done really well in the other tournaments and have got it locked up or something, I would probably just take this kayak, sacrifice my range, and then be able to go down to the ocean afterwards. I just, you know, the bow mount, you don't want to take it out in the ocean. Because, I mean, I'd take a lot of waves over in just choppy lake conditions and fill the hull up. I can't imagine trying to bust through the surf or the wind kicking up out in the ocean. Like, that would be so dangerous to be out in that kayak. And then, two, the saltwater corrosion. I mean, saltwater rusts everything. I mean, my stainless steel pliers I took down there to the Keys, man, 3 days, they look like they're 30 years old, man. They're just so rusted out. I don't want to take my live scope and my motor and all that stuff and risk getting saltwater damage. If I had a saltwater rated motor, I'd do it, but the one I have, I don't. And with that bow mount kind of plowing through the waves, like even if I was in the, you know, some inshore areas, you get on a choppy day and you get that spray and the water coming over, and you get corrosion inside there. It's better not to take the risk. But this kayak I can take anywhere. It's just going to limit my range for the tournament day, so just got to make a decision. We'll see when the time comes. Weather could also play a factor too. I mean, if they're calling for high winds down there, obviously I wouldn't be going out offshore. So we'll see how it goes. But either way, we've got a lot of upcoming trips. A couple weeks, either be in Kentucky for the Catfish Tournament or Reelfoot Lake. We got Nickajack at the end of May. June, I know we've got a tournament in June in Ohio. I don't know if it's Hoover or Sandusky Bay. They may both be in June, actually. I'm going up there for both of those. Then we got Wheeler in Alabama. I'll be down there for that. Louisiana tournament, and then we've got to close out the year on Santee Cooper in South Carolina. So a lot of trips upcoming this year. And most of them are, you know, Wheeler, a lot of big catfish. Santee Cooper, a lot of big cats. Louisiana's got a lot of big cats. Hoover up there in Ohio, man, it's a small lake in Columbus there. But they started stocking cats, I think it was 2012, if memory serves me. There's some big cats in there now. It's a lot of fun. And Hoover is horsepower restricted, 10 horsepower max. So you don't have all the pleasure boats and stuff going up and down. No wakeboarders, houseboats, all that nonsense. Now, I caught some big crappie up there last year, too. So I'm going to take my ultralight rod. Definitely do an ultralight session up there along with the cats. So we got some fun trips planned, y'all. For those of you watching my channel, coming along with me on these adventures this summer and fall here, man, we're going to be into some fun times. I feel like the bite has tailed off here a little bit. Even the fish that we've gotten, and it's been a little while since we've got some fish, but the last few fish we've gotten haven't been the quality that worked through there earlier. It's almost like we had an hour and a half. It took about an hour. We had one fish in that first hour. And then we kind of went on a run for an hour and a half where we had a few good quality fish, and now it's kind of started to taper off. I think that sunrise bite this morning was maybe just a little bit later, which could have had to do either with the colder temperatures this morning or possibly the fact that we had that, and again, I don't know if it's a full moon last night or the night before. We're in that time period where it looks full in the sky. There's something splashed up right over there. But maybe that threw off the sunrise bite too, potentially this morning. But either way, I feel like we had that window there for an hour and a half where we were getting some better quality fish working through. So I'm going home happy today, y'all. How long have we been at this now? How much battery do I have left? I'm using this new camera here. I don't know how long my battery pack's dead, it looks like. This DJI camera, this is something they need to improve and get better on. On GoPro, it'll tell me the number percentage of battery I got left. On DJI, it just has it looks like a battery on the upper right-hand corner, and it don't tell you the number that's left on it. But either way, the battery pack's dead, so I'd say we probably get somewhere around 4 hours total runtime with my battery pack and the battery in the camera. Which, you know, it's kind of ideal, I guess, because I can come out, film, and if I want to stay out a little longer, like yesterday, I stayed out another 45 minutes to an hour. I can just kick back, relax, off camera, and take it to the house. In my younger days, I could fish longer. You know, I can't sit in a kayak for 12 hours anymore. I can't do it. Physically, I just can't do it. But even if I could, I don't think I would. Like some of these guys that are just the marathoners, I just don't have a desire. I mean, I love fishing, but I don't want to do it for 12 straight hours. It's hard to explain, you know. It's I like doing it for 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours on a real productive day. And even these tournaments that are 8 hours long are a little too long for me. I'd rather them be shorter. It's weird. It's hard to explain. You know, when you think about it, people say, well, they love something, you know, they want to do it all the time, all day, every day, but it's just, no, I want to do it about every day. I like to go fishing every day, but I want to do it for a few hours every day. I got to rig that graph on this kayak in a better way. I don't know really where I want to put it is the thing. You know, I like it right here where it's at right now because it's out of the way. It's down in this little cubby hole here, right? But when I raise my pedal drive and push it forward, it's going to push down on it, obviously. So that don't really work. So like when I'm done filming here, I'll just turn the power off and I'll stick it back in that hatch. If I move it up here, it's going to be in the way of landing big fish. If I put it here by the rod holder, it's going to be in the way of getting to the rod. If I put it like in the other tracks up here, I could do that. But then, you know, if it's standing up right here, it's going to be in the way when I'm casting ultralight. I just don't have a good place where I want to put it. Another thing some people do too is they'll take their graphs. Navarre makes a mount. And you replace this piece of the handle here on the side, and it's got a piece of gear track. And Navarre Kayak Fishing makes a piece that goes in here with that gear track, and you can mount your graph here. Now that's a possibility. But if I have it here, and I go to get out of the kayak when I'm pulling up on shore, my leg's going to be hitting it. Same thing with this side, you know, depending on what side I was getting out on. Then I'd have to move my transducer too, probably to the back, which I could do. I could put it on the gear track here and run it over. I've got this transducer. You probably can't see around the rod there. It's on a ram mount, and it's just barely in the water there. I did it that way. There's a transducer mount here kind of behind the pedal drive up under the kayak, but it's such a small area unless you have a Humminbird transducer. And Old Town is made, the parent company of Old Town Kayaks is Johnson Outdoors. They also make Humminbird electronics and Minn Kota motors. So that transducer area is kind of made for Humminbird transducers. That Raymarine or any other transducer, it's a tight fit. And so I've rigged it up in such a way over here where it's kind of barely in the water. We get a good reading when I'm sitting in the kayak, my weight pushes it down far enough for us to get the good reading. But when I pull up on the shore, that transducer's not hanging below the kayak, so I don't have to worry about hitting it on the shore. And then when I'm out of the kayak, my weight's not in it. The transducer is just barely touching the water. So I kind of like it like that. But we could move it to the back potentially, have the graph here on the handle, have the wires going in through the hatch under the seat, possibly to the battery. We got options. It's just, I kind of like that graph right there where it's at, where I've jimmy rigged it. It just gets in the way when I raise the pedal drive. We'll figure something out though, but I need to do something with it. I need to mount it in such a way that I don't have to keep putting it in and out of that hatch, I guess is what I'm saying. I need it for catfishing. I don't use it at all for ultralight fishing. But like for coming out here, it's got the map card, so I was able to use the graph in conjunction with the map card and kind of get myself positioned right where I want to be on the edge of this ledge where this creek comes out. I was able to follow the old creek channel out using the graph, watch it drop off, and then drop anchor down. So I'm precisely where I want it to be, which I could use the Navionics phone app and kind of do the same thing, but down here, you know, Navionics is very accurate on my waters back home, Fort Loudon and Watts Bar, but I've not used Navionics, the phone app down here on Chickamauga, enough to know how accurate it is here. So, you know, I wanted to have the graph here yesterday and today to make sure that I was, especially driving this far, I want to make sure that I am exactly where I need to be and get myself positioned accordingly. Because, I mean, you know, an active day where you got current flow, fish will come find your baits. If you got current dispersing and whatnot and you're off position where you need to be, they'll come get it. But you get a day where fish aren't very active, or like today where we don't have any current flow, if you're off, man, if you're not where you need to be, those fish, they're not going to know your baits are there. They're not going to come get them. So positioning can mean a lot whether or not you're going to have a successful trip or not. And so driving this far, I want to put myself in every chance possible to succeed. But I feel like we have succeeded today. The bites died off now, but we had a good run today. Some good quality fish. Didn't get the monster that we got there yesterday at the end of my last trip, but we've had good numbers today, and we've had overall good quality, and it's been worth coming down here for. This launch site over here, I mean, if you tried backing your kayak down or a boat down across that busted up concrete, you're in for a bad time. Me and Ryan had looked at it the day we come down last week to pre-fish because we wanted to fish this area, you know, and he knocked his dang kayak off the trailer trying to back down it, and I said, hell with it. So we got him loaded up, and we went up here upstream, put in at another launch, and come down to this area. But for this kayak here that I could put in anywhere, it's super convenient because, I mean, I'm 200 or 300 yards back there. Well, there's another big splash right over there. But I mean, 200 or 300 yards, and I'm right here where I want to fish. What time it's getting to be. What y'all done with my phone now? 10:49. I'll give it just a few more minutes here, and I'm gonna pack up, I think. Hopefully the camera battery will last. Oh, look right here. Maybe we'll get one to end the video with. How awesome would that be? It'd be even more awesome if it was a flathead. Y'all, this one's gonna pull. He took a little line, didn't he? He's still taking some line. We had us a lull, we had us a break. Now we got another one. It was around this time yesterday I got that big fish. This one don't feel as big as the one yesterday, but none of these fish today have felt as big as they are. Come on up here, fish. Come play with us. He's coming back this way. I see my line kind of swimming toward me. He better not get in that anchor rope. That's another thing I need to do on this kayak, is I need to rig me up an anchor trolley. Right now I've got that anchor rope right behind me, and it makes it easier for these fish to kind of get in it. Y'all, this fish just, he feels bigger now. He feels a lot bigger now. We're in for a little bit of a battle now, buddy. At first, I didn't think he felt as big as the one yesterday, but now he's feeling a lot bigger. I don't know how big he's going to end up being. But when he come over here and made that surge back down, I'm just hanging on, man. You can see him, he's spinning the kayak around, buddy. He's doing what he wants. We're getting us a little bit of a sleigh ride here. I'm gonna tighten down just a little more on that drag, I don't want him spinning me in a complete circle here because we got that other line over there behind us we threw. That line back there ain't been hit all day. We ain't got not one fish on that rod. I guess I should have never threw it out. I see the bubbles coming up right over yonder. That's gonna be a good one. Yeah, we needed a big fish to close out the video. We need a flathead's what we need. How awesome would it be if we pulled this thing up and it's a flat? Oh, did he just come off? Okay. He must have rolled. I thought he'd come off for a second. Them some big bubbles coming up though. Since he rolled, I'm gonna just assume it's a blue. This is gonna be a good one right here, man. This is gonna be a good one. I told that big fish yesterday, I said, you shouldn't have waited till the end of the video to bite because nobody was going to see it. 3 or 4 hours into it. Same thing with this fish. We so far into this video, nobody's left watching. The only people seeing this fish are the ones that's fast forwarded through. I still ain't got to look at him. We ought to be getting close enough. This water's fairly clear. He just keeps taking line back down, man. This is fun, y'all. He's fought so much harder now. That initial, you know, when I was first fighting him there, it was like, it's a better class fish, but he wasn't like, he didn't feel this big right away. Goodness gracious. Oh, come on, fish. Let me get a look at you. Just in case something crazy happens and you pop off, I just want to see you a minute. These people want to see you. 3 people left still watching that's fast forwarded through to this point want to get a look at you, fish. That's a bruiser, buddy. It's a big blue. Big blue. Oh, man. Yes, sir, buddy. Yes, sir. Oh, buddy, look at that. Oh, he's got the fly too, folks. He's got the fly. This fish, I saw the bare hook up there where the head bait was. He's ate the fly. How about that? He's got it in the mouth too, buddy. Where's my cellular device? Let me do a little Instagramming here. Y'all take a look at this fish, man. This blue cat is a brute, and he has ate the fly. Catfish Sumo bait stalker fly. There's my bare hook. It had a skipjack head on it. He's thrown it off in the fight, and it's been a fight. Man, that's awesome, y'all. I've caught some fish today, several of them. That's some good quality. This one right here, man. This is the way to cap off the trip. All right, buddy, we got us a little Instagram video there. Got us a big fish. We cooking with Crisco here, ain't we, folks? I'm gonna get my glove here. Here's what I need to do. Let me set him back just a second. And now, let's get our glove on here. Look at that rod, man. Look at that, man. Is that awesome or what? And then, again, my rod holder bases bolted in. So when he does that, no fear whatsoever that that thing's gonna pop off there. They're in there solid. Okay. Boy, it was like that yesterday. Right at the end of my session. Get the big fish. This one's a good one right here, buddy. This is a good fish. This one take up the whole floor of the kayak right here. On the dang fly. Come here, fish. There it is, right there in his mouth, buddy. Boy, bit down on my thumb. Come on in, fish. Come on in. Whew. Oh, y'all. Oh, buddy, that makes me happy. That makes me happy right there, man. Oh, buddy. Let's get that fly out there. Got it kind of deep, but we're good. He didn't get it down in the gills or anything. Okay, there it is. Oh, man, y'all, look at that thing. Right there, the whole floor of my kayak, buddy. Let me sections up here. Let me sections up there a minute. We gotta try to get us a picture of this thing. Let me turn that front screen on so I can see what I'm looking at there. Fist bump worthy, y'all. There it is. That's awesome, man. Oh, I love it. That's a heavy fish. Oh, I need a better grip on him here. There we go. Whoo, he's heavy. Man, that's awesome. On the fly, too. That's why I use them flies, folks. I'm telling you, we've got some extra fish today, and here we are. Biggest fish of the day eats that fly. He might have been drawn into the scent of the head bait, but what did he eat? Good to have him on there just in case. Oh, he's wanting to flop. I can feel the energy brewing up in him. I better get him out of here. We'll see you, buddy. Thank you so much. If you're the last fish of the trip, what a way to go out, man. Whew. Okay, off you go. There you go. Oh, yes. Boy, now we've capped off the day, man. Good numbers, good quality today, and we got us a whopper, man. Love it. That makes me excited, folks. I'm pumped, man. I am pumped. Let's get our camera here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop another bait back down here. Where's that one? Where's my other bag at here? I had one more skipjack whole one in here that we ain't cut. We're gonna put that thing on, put that head on. You know, like I was saying, is that fish, is he drawn into the scent of the head bait or the cut bait or whatever and then eats the fly? Maybe. I don't know. Ultimately, it don't matter though. The thing is, We got to fly home, and regardless of how he got there, that's what he chose to eat. And I've had that happen so many times where, like, you would think down 40 feet deep, like, yeah, the water's a little clear today. How are they able to see it down there? But, like, they know. They clearly know it's there. Because they're getting, you know, and I snag a bunch of these fish too. Like, you know, they'll eat the cut bait and we'll get a stinger hook in them, you know. Or you'll have a fish roll on your cut bait and you'll snag him in the back or the tail or something with the fly. That happens quite a bit. But you also get a lot of fish that eat the bait, like that one there that literally had that bait in his mouth. And so you know that he either saw that bait or sensed it or felt it and was able to eat it. The why really don't matter to me, folks. Just the fact that it happens. You know, my friend Dewey that put me on them flies, he told me, he said, Justin, try them out. You're going to catch a bunch of extra fish. And I didn't believe him at the time. But, boy, it's proven to be true. And then, ironically, the craziest thing to me about the flies, aside from the fact you catch so many catfish on them, the craziest thing to me is the fact that I don't catch much else. Like, I'm not picking up drum with them. I'm not picking up stripers or largemouth or anything else with them. It's just dang catfish. You would think other fish would be more prone to eat the flies, but that's not really the case. I think I've gotten, in like 2 years or more of using these things now, I think I've gotten 1 or 2 drum. Never got a striper with them. Never got a largemouth with them there. It's mostly been blue and flatheads. Mostly blues, but I've gotten several flatheads too. Look right here. Look right here. We finally got this one beat. He's swimming this way. He's swimming this way. This one we've had cast out behind us up here in the shallows. I felt a kayak move and looked back and my line's going this way. After all this time, this one finally got eat. I'm gonna put this rod up after we get this fish in. We've done so good on our suspending rods, we ain't even needed this bait today. Come here, fish. You finally found you a free meal up there. I've been sitting there, that rod's been sitting there waiting on y'all morning long, fish. There he is. Bar's been set higher for that last one, fish. Ain't nobody excited over you. Yeah, I'm gonna just put this rod up. Shouldn't have even have brought it today. Didn't need it. It was still in the car from yesterday because I thought about possibly dragging that creek over there if things didn't work out. Suspending, or if the wind hadn't been up, I'd have probably went over there and dragged for 30 minutes to an hour before I left. But nevertheless, I had the rods in the car still today, and this launch I used, I'm not familiar with this area, so I didn't want to leave anything of value in my car, just in case. Even though I can kind of see my car from here, I can't get to it before somebody was to bust out my window and grab something, you know. Whew. Well, y'all, it looks like my battery's about dead. There's a sliver of red left on the dang battery indicator thing. DJI needs to do better with that. Give us a percentage, DJI, come on. But, y'all, I guess I'm gonna wrap up this video. I'm gonna sit here a while longer though and see if old boy's got a friend or two with him that comes through. But, you know, like it was like that yesterday though. That's exactly how it played out yesterday. I got a big fish right before I left, and I sat here another 45 minutes to an hour on the other side over there. And I got a couple more fish, but they weren't anywhere near the quality of the big one. But that one there, man, That was a nice golly whopper to end the trip with, man. And I've had a good time out here today, y'all. Definitely worth the drive this morning. I'll be back. Y'all come with me very soon. We're going to go right down here to this next creek, and we're going to set up there, right in the mouth of it, do exactly what we've done here today and exactly what we done over there yesterday, and just put in a few hours, let the fish that work through come to us, and we'll able to get some more there too. If they're feeding in this creek and they're feeding in that creek, I bet you a shiny new nickel they're going to be feeding in that one too. So yeah, tomorrow I don't know what I'll do. Either ultralight and a bait run, or we got something happening here. Okay, I guess he's got it. I guess he's got it. Let's see what we got here. Is this going to be another one that starts out feeling not very big and ends up being big like the last one? I may go to Watts Bar Dam and try that new lure tomorrow too. We'll see. Game time decision when I get up in the morning. We'll see what the mood strikes me. But when I do get some bait, I'm going to be back down here. Maybe Thursday or Friday back down here. Yeah, it's a fun sizer here. Oh, fun size kitty. Oh, Lord. Fish, you better come on. I don't know if this battery's going to hold out long enough for you. Acting like that. I don't think we got enough battery left to make it happen, fish. No, Lord, he's trying to get us all soaking wet here. This fish says, I'm dirty enough. I don't need to be washed. I need to be washed. That's what he said. He's got this dog over here on the shore tore up about it. The dog's barking at him now. Oh, don't get back there in that dang rope, y'all. Y'all listen, if this battery just shuts off real quick, it's dead, and I'll see you in the next one. I ain't trying to just disappear onions, but this fish here he ain't cooperating with battery life of my camera setup. Oh, fish. That's a good one though, man. That's another good one. Yeah, I'm gonna sit here, camera life or not, I'm gonna sit here another 30 minutes, an hour maybe, see if we get some more like this working through. Whoo, buddy, he's got me wet. I bet he's got water all over y'all too. Come on, fish, I'm gonna try to land you and hold you up before this camera dies. I don't know if I can or not, fish. He don't want to be held up on camera, apparently. This fish don't understand it. He don't know what a battery is. He don't understand the concept of a dying battery. Come here, fish, come here. Come here. No, Lord. Boy, this is fired up, man. We've had some today that ain't hardly fought at all. This one's fought above his weight class. Boy, you about to lose that hook right there, ain't you? Come on in here. Oh, no, no. There. Let me hold you up real quick, y'all. Oh, Lord, he's got water all over the lens. Let me wipe you off. He splashed you good. He splashed you good there, y'all. I don't know if you're gonna see it or not before that camera shuts off. There he is. That's another whopper right there, man. That's a good fish, buddy. I can't barely see you because I got water all over my lenses too. Oh, man. Oh. All right, fish, we'll see you. I gotta get that bait back down. We got big fish working through, y'all. Oh, man. How did the camera, did it make it? By gosh, it did. I'm honestly surprised this camera's made it as long as it has. The red light thing on there, it's like a gas tank on empty. You apparently got about 10 more miles. Anyway, y'all, it's going to die at any point, at some point soon here. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.